Do you want to know what the tastiest snack in the world is? I can't tell you, but I know who can. Just listen to Dalton and Jeremy on the Apps Pod.
Hello, assholes and assholettes, and welcome back to yet another BS podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy. He's your host, Dalton.
Hey!
And we're here to entertain you for a couple hours tonight. This one might be a little shorter than the last few have been, because we couldn't come up with a lot of shit to talk about this week for some reason.
It's been a week, yes.
It's been a week. So, how has your week been, Dalton?
It's been pretty good, man. It's been pretty good. I got a job offer.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'm waiting to hear more about that tomorrow. But as far as I know, I got the job. So that's cool. It's going to be a part-time. The place is literally, if I threw a rock hard enough, the rock would land halfway to this place. So like from my house. So it's not that far at all, which is going to save on gas in the long run because I'm used to working in Gainesville or Stark, which is like a 20 to hour drive depending on which way you're going.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and
you know,
I will say, if you want to hear more about our jobs, listen to the Extra BS podcast segment exclusively for Patreon $10 tier subscribers. But because the first hit's always free, we're going to let everybody get a hold of this first one just so you can see what kind of quality content your money will be providing for you.
Yeah, we recorded that the other night, and it was a good time. We talked about our first jobs and how those went.
Yeah,
so yeah,
that was a fun little about 50-minute segment.
Yeah, I have it up there right now for the 10 tier, but I'm going to knock it down for everyone because we said that we're gonna, like I said, do the first one for everybody. Even I think I can make it to where anybody can watch it, even the people who aren't on Patreon. So if you want to go and just get a tease and, see more of what we would be doing over there, then by all means. But yeah, man, so I'm stoked about this new endeavor. Hopefully it'll start lining my pockets some and I can upgrade my PC, put some savings aside. There's a bunch of games that I realized today there's a bunch of fucking games that I want to get.
Oh yeah.
Like all these PlayStation games that are coming to PC. I'm like, God damn it. So now God of War is one that's high up there, right? Horizon Zero Dawn. And now Days Gone, Spider-Man, Persona 5's coming in October.
Oh, yeah.
I need money, Jeremy.
Yeah, me too.
God damn.
So go subscribe to our Patreon so we can buy these video games we want to play.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about them on the show.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it the other day. I got a copy of Kirby Star Allies in for the Switch. I was like, oh yeah, that new Kirby in the Forgotten Land is out. Like, I want to play that, but I don't want to invest $60 in it. So,
were you the person that bid on it?
Maybe
someone bid on it on the factory sealed retro shit. What am I trying to think of? Fantasy League.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's the factory sealed community, but Mike runs it. I don't know. It's a whole weird situation, but yeah it's fun. I've been having a blast. Well, okay. I've been having a blast with it. I couldn't help but laugh the other day when Oregon Jeremy messaged the chat and was like, oh, fuck, I forgot this was a thing. Am I in last? Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot left to grab.
And I don't know if he listens to this show, but shout out Philly G.
Yes.
Phil Gartside, because he got that bullshit terrible pick with Babylon's Fall,
which worked out tremendously for me.
Yeah. And he has scored some seriously good games recently. Like, most of his picks have been getting 80s and stuff. So
nice.
So we said we mentioned on the Patreon that we would talk about this more on the episode, and we're going to get to it later. But don't think I've forgotten about one of your picks, my good sir.
Oh yeah.
Don't think we'll get there. So I want to start off. Okay, so I was just thinking about stories, right? I have a lot of stories, and I don't always remember which ones I've told, and I don't always think about whether they're entertaining or not. Right? But I do have a lot of stories, and I try to go through them. So here's one that it might have been a you had to have been there type thing, but also maybe not. So me and a bunch of my friends were at my buddy's apartment, and we all dropped acid. And we're all just sitting around having a good time. We're sipping on beers, chatting, listening to music. And I don't remember this kid's name. I'm going to call him Blaine because it was something along those lines. But I'm going to call him Blaine. So there's Blaine, me, Corey, Dustin, and MJ. So we're all just sitting around chilling. And I don't know if we were listening to dubstep or if we were listening to like, I don't remember what the fuck we were listening to, but it was like happy style music. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, this Blaine dude just starts talking about how we were all fucking evil. And he just starts like shouting about some shit. And he's like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And we were like, bro.
So he just started his own D&D campaign right in the middle of the party.
Yeah, I was like, we were like, bro, you're tripping. Like, you're tripping real hard. You need to just calm down. Just chill. Everything's all right. You know what I mean? This motherfucker shoves us out of the way, grabs his keys. Corey is still trying to like get him to like calm down and chill and stop. And homeboy jumps in his car, cranks that motherfucker up, backs up, like you know how like when you can tell someone's erratically driving?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just backs up and just throws it into drive and just takes off, hits the curb. Boom, his car's up on two wheels for a second, goes back down. He fucking like burns out and then takes off out of the parking lot of this apartment complex. And me and Dustin are like, what the fuck? MJ, who is good friends with this kid, is now flipping a shit. And Corey's like, we all need to go back inside and be quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're all, I'll go ahead and say this. And MJ apparently is like some crazy right-wing Christian nutcase now, so I don't give a fuck. He could not handle his drugs, right? So we all go back inside and we're chilling, and MJ's like freaking out. Obviously, his buddy like did all that, so yeah, I can understand why he's freaking out. But we're like trying to calm him down. So we put on South Park.
Nice,
because like South Park's hilarious.
Oh yeah,
and we're all sitting and we're laughing and we're having a good time, except MJ. And MJ just keeps talking about how South Park's evil and this shit's evil and it's the devil and we shouldn't be watching it, yada. So we ended up putting on something else to sate him. So he calls me down to the floor where he's sitting and he starts showing me something that he's like super trying to get. So he was one of those people that because he was on acid, he had to be introspective and he had to be like, bro, the galaxies and he couldn't just be like, yo, we're on drugs and we're feeling good.
Yep.
Now he was like, no, the way your chakras line and so he's trying to give me this kind of stuff, and I start giggling. And bro, he was like, he just looks me dead in the eyes. He goes, "Hey, you think I'm fucking funny, huh?" And me, I'm like, yes, yes, I do. Like, I don't know what you're talking about right now, bro. I am like soaring through the sky. I have no idea what you're talking about. And yeah, he's just like, so for the rest of the night, he was just in this ridiculous. Finally, we did hear from Blaine, and he got home okay. His sister was like, he got here fine. He's a little shaken up. What did y'all do? And when she found out that he drove home on acid, she waited until the next day and she reamed his ass for driving home. But yeah, man, I'll never forget. Like, we went from having a good time to homeboy drives off. We don't know if he's going to survive the ride home, and all of a sudden MJ's like staring at me like I'm the devil and he needs to rip the devil out of my soul. It was the weirdest fucking night, bro.
Fun stuff.
It's the weirdest. Kids don't do drugs. I feel like a lot of my stories end with that. Don't do drugs.
I had a friend tell me about a story of her uncle where he was on acid or PCP or mushrooms or some hallucinogen. So
hold on. PCP, I don't think it's a hallucinogen, but continue.
Maybe. I don't know my hardcore drugs that well. But yeah, I think he was on acid, LSD, whatever you want to call it. And they had to go to his house. He was in the yard crying, right? The story as he tells us, he's driving home, said he stopped at a stop sign. The stop sign got up and got in his car with him. And so he just took off driving. Drove home, said stop sign, got out of the car and walked into the woods. He got out of the car, went to walk in the house. The house got up and walked off into the woods. They literally go to his house and he's crawling around in the yard crying because he doesn't know where his house is. And he's like, well, what am I going to do? You know, oh, my house is gone. I don't know what to do. Like, had to fucking bring him down. Like, yeah. So, yeah, kids, don't do hallucinogens more than like once.
I gotta say, like, I never saw any weird thing like that on acid. I would get trails, like when you would see lights go by, they would just be like trails behind them. But most of my, like, when I saw shit was mescaline, which is a synthetic version of peyote. And it was more like, it was basically just like I was looking at pictures and like, you've seen Harry Potter with the portraits?
Oh, yeah.
And how the portraits move? That's what I was seeing. And like, it was cool. I only did that once though. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, I probably shouldn't do that again. Like, there's just certain things that you do it and you enjoy it. And then afterwards you're like, yeah, you know, that was fun and all. But I wonder what repercussion that's going to have on my brain in 10 years.
Yep. like everybody that trips over fucking ayahuasca and shit. Like, yeah.
At least that's natural though, you know.
True.
I'll give it that. Even though it's still poison, that's why you that's why you trip. Is because it poisons
you take just enough poison to not kill you.
Yeah, dude. I remember me and a couple of buddies of mine took angel trumpets. And they tasted awful. And I didn't see much other than like it looked like my walls were sweating. But my buddy Dustin was riding his bike back like over to his cousin's house or whatever, and he swears a dragon was following him. Nice. Like guarding over him as he was riding home. And I was like,
nice.
Maybe that shit just doesn't affect me like it affects other people.
Maybe. I know a lot of shit, like if you have ADHD, shit like that, it affects your brain, causes things to affect your brain differently, so maybe.
Yeah, I have diagnosed ADHD back in the day. I think smoking pot has chilled me out a lot. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you, I have
allegedly smoking pot.
Yeah, allegedly. CBD gummies that are legal. Yeah. I have a buddy of mine who can, like, he can drink and he'll drink and drink and drink and drink. And it takes him, like, where I would be shit-faced puking, he is starting to get drunk. Yeah. He's smoked blunts with me before because he's like, yeah, I like the taste of it, but it doesn't do anything for me. He's eaten handfuls of shrooms and nothing happens. Like, I don't know what's up with his, like, biological makeup, but, like, shit just doesn't fuck him up like it does other people. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, which is dude, it is hilarious when you get a cocky motherfucker over to their house for a party that have never drank with him before. And they start, oh yeah, man, I'll take you, we'll go drink for drink, shot for shot. Wes is like, bet. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. And by the end of the night, that person is curled up in a ball crying. And Wes is just over there sipping his Jaeger bomb, just like, I'm good, man.
What is it called when it's some like college drinking shit where like you take a big hit off a blunt or bong or whatever.
A grand slam.
Maybe you do or you shotgun a beer, you do 4 shots and then you blow out the smoke.
Well, okay, the number of shots just depends on who's doing it, but like, yeah that's called a grand slam, okay. Where you take a big rip of pot, down the beer, down the shot, blow out. Yeah, it's called a grand slam. Those not easy to do.
Oh, I can imagine.
I've done it before, but like, you got to have ice in that bong, like good cold water, because the longer you hold the smoke, the more acrid it gets in your lungs. Yeah. And yeah, dog, you don't want to cough while you're swallowing fucking vodka or something. Like, you just do not want that to happen.
Yeah, I'm 36. That shit doesn't even sound entertaining to me anymore. It's like, they're like, oh yeah, let's do grand slams. No, I'm good.
I learned that mixing booze and pot is not a good idea, because like a surefire way to get the spins is to smoke pot when you're super drunk. Oh yeah. So I kind of chose one or the other, and bro, I got a bottle of booze up there that's half empty that's been sitting there for like a year and a half. I just don't touch it. Like every now and then, like when I'm gaming, like with Nate and Willie, like we're playing something, I might have a whiskey and Coke, one, and just sip on it. You know what I'm saying? But I have had my fair share of hangovers that it's not my thing. Like, I can get baked and wake up the next day and feel fucking fine.
I think it was Dave Chappelle that said that. It was like, you can smoke pot and go be a productive member of society for the rest of the day. You can't get drunk. You can't like get high on crack or high on cocaine or high on mushrooms or whatever and go be a productive member of society the rest of the day.
Hell no. There are people who are quote unquote productive when they're on cocaine.
True.
But like everyone knows they're on cocaine. Like you can just tell.
Yeah. I remember I was at a bar one time with this one girl that I went on a few dates with, and we're there and there's this dude there. He was obviously like fairly wealthy, but he was friends with this girl, and we're all hanging out. He's a pretty cool guy. I can't remember his name anymore. This was a long time ago. He was there with some girl. I forget her name too, but she was like tall, statuesque, had like the Miley Cyrus like bob haircut, like bleach blonde, in a fucking like skin tight silver dress. I can remember, like just fucking bombshell, like looked like a model. She goes to the bathroom with like a couple of her friends. She comes back and like her whole demeanor has changed. It's like obvious she went to the bathroom and like did a couple bumps of cocaine. She comes back, she's all fucking hyper. She starts getting emotional over nothing. And it's like, dude, like, why do you want to be like that in public? Like, she was so fun and cool to hang with. Goes and does a couple bumps of cocaine and becomes like just fucking whiny and needy and shit. And like, I'm like, wow, why do you want to be like that? Like you said, if I go out to drink, I will get like a vodka and orange juice and I'll fucking sip on it. I'll just fucking, just to say I'm there with friends having a drink. Like, I don't want to get drunk. I just sit there and fucking, just to have a drink in my hand.
Yeah. And man, I used to have a buddy who would come over and hang out. And since I told him that I didn't want him doing cocaine over here, I have not seen him. But, he'd come over and we would do, blow. Like I'd do a few lines and he would do way more than me. But for one, I think we've talked about this before. It's not my thing. It makes me grit my teeth, and my teeth are bad enough as it is. But anyway, so this motherfucker, like we'd be outside, like we'd be like going outside I'd be going to smoke a joint with my mom or something, right? And he'd take his cigarette and he'd lick the outside of his cigarette and he'd roll it in coke, and then we'd go out there and he'd light his cigarette and he'd be smoking that. And you think he would try to hide the fact that you have the sniffles.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting over there like he's got a cold.
Yep.
And like my mom's not going to reckon, like, no, my mom's not dumb. You don't have a cold all year every time you come over.
Yep.
Like, nah, motherfucker, you got a cocaine problem. And yeah, it was ridiculous, man. And I'll tell you another one. I used to have these friends, and I won't lie, I did it with them back in the day a few times because I was dumb. But like when I realized that it was absolutely awful for you, I stopped. Triple C's.
Oh, yeah.
Which, for those that don't know what triple C's are, that is Coricidin cough and cold medicine. All right?
The Tussin.
It's basically a pill form of Robitussin. Yeah. And I've also done Robitussin. Yeah. So basically, triple C's, I would go over to Mike's house and he would hand me 2 boxes. Here you go. You'd pop them all open, you get all those pills out, and you'd take them all.
Yep.
And you fucked up is not the word. It made you stupid.
Yeah.
Like everything moved in slow motion. You would talk. I remember going over there one time and I wasn't on him, and Mike and his friend were on him, and he just looks at me and he goes, "Dalton, I need some water." All right, man, I'll go get you some water. I got him some water. I brought it back. He's like, "Thank you." That's just because he was so fucked up on these fucking cough medicine pills. I was just like, Jesus Christ. Didn't touch him, especially after that. Like, I was like, bro, this just makes you a zombie. It's fucked up. And I guess that's why I don't understand why people take Adderall, because I have ADHD. Yeah. Like, that shit makes me a zombie, and it makes other people wired.
Yep.
So maybe that's why that one time that I did meth without knowing about it, it didn't affect me, other than it just made me not be able to sleep.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, it's not going to have the same thing on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meth is basically ADHD medication.
Yeah, I saw something that's like a molecule or two off from being meth is Adderall.
Yeah, pretty much.
When I was a kid, the first thing I was on was Ritalin. And oddly enough, I have a tooth that's discolored because of Ritalin. I don't know how to explain it, but the doctor even said that that's probably from the Ritalin. So they switched me from that to Adderall. And I will tell you this. When I was on Adderall, I lost 55 pounds when I was a kid.
Nice.
Because obviously it's speed. Like, I wasn't hungry. Like, and they switched me from that to Strattera. And I just stopped taking Strattera. I was like, this shit, nah. I had started smoking pot by that point. I was like, I don't need this shit anymore.
Yep.
Fuck it. And I've been fine ever since. But it's like, I don't miss taking that stuff because of the way it would make me feel. You literally just feel like a fucking zombie, bro. It's awful. Although I do understand, like, when some kids are so hyperactive, they may need that, or maybe they just need activities to help them get that energy out. So I don't know.
Like Jonathan was diagnosed ADHD, and Jen didn't want him on medication for a while, which I understand. But like, I was like, he needs help because he can't control this. And so finally his grades started slipping, so got him to the doctor. The doctor was like, oh yeah, ADHD. Put him on a low dose medication, and it seemed to help him a lot. So, I mean, some kids, I think, like you said, their parents just don't want to deal with them. So they're like, put them on medication, zombie them out, and then I don't have to deal with them. But then some kids genuinely do, like, need that helping hand. Yeah.
Yeah. And also consider the fact that, like, this was late 90s, early 2000s that I was having to deal with this. So this was like, I'm sure it's way more precise and measured now.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas back then they were giving us pills that stained our teeth.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
There was like that time in the like 90s or early 2000s when basically every kid had ADD. Like, you don't even hear about ADD anymore. Like, it's all ADHD now. But back then it was like, oh yeah, this is a good way for us to put kids on pills for the rest of their lives. Oh yeah, your kid wasn't focusing on a math test. Yeah, give him these pills for the rest of his life. So yeah, like a lot of kids got put on that stuff way back when. I'm
surprised there's never been like a class action lawsuit about that, because it's like, so, not that you would get any money.
Yeah, true.
You'd get like $10 and a hot dog. Like
the lawyers that file it'll get $40 million. You'll get a hot dog.
Yes. Yes.
I wonder, because you think, man, people like in their 30s now, we're probably the most depressed and anxious generation ever. I wonder if that shit has something to do with it. We were so fucking doped up as kids.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Who knows? I mean, it could be the fact that the generation before us are literally ruining life, but who knows?
Yeah. And what's crazy about the generation before us is that there's the ones that are actively ruining life, and then there's the other side that were the hippies. Yep. And they can only do so much.
Yep.
Because we have people in our generation who were raised by the people who are ruining everything, and they are also trying to ruin everything. It's a vicious cycle.
Dude, I saw like a TikTok video that I think is a good comparison for that, where there was a girl talking about guys not approaching women in public anymore. And she said, the nice guys that we want to talk to, they don't approach us in public because they don't want to bother us. Whereas the asshole guys don't give a shit if they bother us. So they approach us, and all we get approached by is assholes. So then we say, God, I just want people to stop approaching me in public. And the nice guys say, okay, well, I won't approach you anymore then. It's kind of the same thing. Like you said, it's to affect change in the world, you kind of have to be an asshole. And unfortunately, only the assholes are doing it. So.
Yeah. Amen. Hopefully something changes eventually, though. My God.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for president.
Yeah.
Dag nabbit.
Yeah, Dwayne Johnson for president with Kevin Hart as vice president.
I don't know about that. I don't know if we need Kevin Hart get a step stool to give his vice presidential address.
No, The Rock just walks up behind him and gets him from the armpits and just picks him up and holds him to the microphone. Stop it, Dwayne. Stop it. Put me down.
Put me down. If you don't put me down, I'm going to make this speech 20 minutes long. You have to hold me for 20 minutes. You think you can hold me for 20 minutes? I'll think you can hold me for 20 minutes, Dwayne.
I was watching a video. It is Kevin Hart was doing some Instagram live or some shit. He was like eating breakfast or something. And fucking Dwayne Johnson gets in the fucking comments like, yo, I pissed in that milk. Kevin Hart was like, Dwayne, get out of my comment section. Get out of my comment section. He's like just sending like fucked up messages in his comments.
One I watched the other day that cracked me up. Those two are like the new Laurel and Hardy. They're fantastic. It was The Rock. He was riding in an SUV and he was like doing like an Instagram live chat thing or something like that. And he rolls his window down and he's like, look at these people walking. And it's Kevin Hart and a couple other people from the set walking. Kevin Hart goes, oh, look, Mr. Big Rock, Mr. Big Dwayne Johnson, big superstar, can't walk 20 feet to the next the next part of the set. He's got to ride in his fucking car. Fuck you, Rock. Like, fuck you, Kevin. Fuck you, Dwayne. Like, they cracked me up, dude.
Could you imagine if Chris Farley were still alive, like the Farley's David Spade shenanigans that would be happening with social media now?
Oh God, it would be fantastic.
Oh yeah,
those two would rule TikTok.
Oh yeah, dude, I read his it was like, I guess, a post-mortem biography. It was really interesting. It was called The Chris Farley Show. It was written by like his brother and a couple other people, and it was mostly like secondhand accounts, like stories from SNL cast members, from, you know, his brothers, his friends, stuff like that. And dude, like, as funny as he was, that dude was so tortured and like internally. Do you remember the Tommy Boy, the hotel scene where like David Spade's looking at the chick skinny dipping in the pool? Like Chris Farley walks by and it's like, oh, where's the gym at? Do you remember that scene? Super, super hot blonde chicks. Like,
I've only seen that on Comedy Central, so that scene might have been cut, but it doesn't ring a bell.
Well, like, I can't remember the girl's name, but she was actually dating Chris Farley. I'm talking about like I believe she was an actual model at the time. They were dating. She said she was in the book. She said she absolutely loved him. She would have married him, had his children, everything. But his self-image was so poor that he couldn't believe that a girl that looked like that could actually love him. So like I think he broke up with her because he was like, I don't think he just couldn't believe that she could genuinely love him. Because she said, you know, he was the funniest man she'd ever known. He was kind and sweet to her, like treated her like gold. She's like, oh, I loved him to death. So yeah, he was just so fucking tortured by his own insecurities. But one of the funniest parts of that book was one of his brothers was telling a story. They were like, Chris was a lazy fuck growing up. And so he would literally take like glasses of water in his bedroom and just have the glasses on his nightstand. And then he would get up in the middle of the night to pee. And instead of going to the bathroom, he would just pee in the fucking dinner glass and sit it on his nightstand and then go dump it in the toilet the next day. Well, apparently they're sitting at the table getting ready to eat dinner, and his dad found out he was doing that, and like his dad just fucking reams his ass, right? He's sitting there fucking just like slamming his hand on the table, yelling and stuff. And he's like, he sat down, he grabbed his cup to take a drink of whatever drink he had. Chris Farley, being the natural comedian he was, his brother was like, as my dad's mid like yelling and cussing at him, goes to take a drink, and Chris goes, no, Dad, don't drink out of that glass. And he's like, he got his ass beat, but like, he's like, he saw a fucking moment to slide a joke in while he was getting reprimanded and took the opportunity.
Hell yeah. Go ahead.
Apparently the Chippendale skit on SNL is what really sent him on the deep end, or sent him off the deep end.
Oh, having to do that?
Well, they said like he didn't mind doing it, but it was Tim Meadows. He was like, fuck that skit. He's like, I hate that skit. I never want to see it again. He's like, because the way it was written, it was funny. You know, for anyone who doesn't know the skit, it was a Chippendales interview of Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze. And like, so they're stripping and doing their dancing and all that stuff. And then he's like, the way they wrote it, he's like, they just have easily could have wrote it to where Chris won, because basically Swayze's out there like doing, you know, the typical stripper moves. Chris Farley is like giving it his all. Like, they could have easily written it to say Chris Farley won, but basically the end of the skit was like, oh, you know, Chris, you did a really good job, but we're going to go with the skinnier, more attractive guy. And Tim Meadows was like, fuck that. That was not even fucking, he's like, it wasn't even fucking funny. Like, you're basically saying, you know, oh, you did really good, but fuck you because you're fat. We're going to go with the hot guy.
Shit, I've been told that before by girls.
Oh, we all have. But like, yeah, he's like, it wasn't funny. He's like, why? It's like Tim Meadows fucking apparently hates that Chippendales skit. But yeah, dude, like Chris Farley was such a comedic genius that I hate he went out like he did.
Yeah, man, that Adam Sandler thing where he did the song about Chris Farley live or whatever it was, dude, that shit made me cry.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh god, this is so sad.
Yeah. I love his fucking the Lunch Lady land song, and like Chris Farley would come out on stage dressed like the Lunch Lady.
Lunch Lady, yeah, tremendous.
Yeah. R.I.P. big guy. We miss you.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? While we're talking about R.I.P. big guys, rest in peace, John Candy too.
Yeah. John
Candy was the fucking man.
Yep. John Candy. John Panay.
John Panay was also fantastic.
He was fucking hilarious.
But Panay was more stand-up.
Yeah.
And the fat guy in one of the final episodes of Seinfeld.
Now, he was in the Tom Jane Punisher movie, too. He was pretty good in that.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
He was one of the... You remember the scene where, like, Kevin Nash comes up as the fucking big Russian and, like, beats...
I've never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen that movie? Oh, you can see that. That was a fucking... It gets a lot of flack. It's a genuinely good movie, though. It's more... People hate on it because, you know, Punisher's typically ultra-violent, fucking just spraying machine guns at people and shit. Yeah. This was a more, like, calculated, methodical Punisher. But he lives in, like, a shitty little apartment building, and John Panetta is one of the neighbors on, like, his floor of the apartment building. Dude, Kevin Nash is in it as a fucking... I forget if it's a legit Marvel character, but he's like this big Russian in a fucking Where's Waldo, like, striped shirt. And he just comes up there and tries to beat the shit out of Frank Castle. So yeah, definitely watch that. It's worth a watch.
Oh yeah. One of the reason I thought about John Candy is like this thing I saw the other day about him was that there was some like 3-hour cut of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but it never got released. And I was like, "What? Release that shit! Jesus Christ, that movie's great."
Like, was it you that shared the clip the other day? I think it's the Uncle Buck clip where he was saying like the monologue about like people saying, you know, just sit down and be quiet and he's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to love and I'm going to laugh and blah, blah, blah. Like
that's from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's such a great little line. Yeah. He's giving that shit to Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Because Steve Martin's a huge jackass in that movie.
Yeah, he's basically just saying, like, you know, everybody keeps saying sit down and shut up and, you know, don't be so loud and don't have so much fun and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, like, who says that?
I haven't watched that shit in forever. I love Uncle Buck, though. Uncle Buck's great.
Uncle Buck's great. The Great Outdoors. Dan Aykroyd.
Yep.
Tremendous. There's a bunch of his movies that I've never seen that I remember. I can't remember the names of, but I can remember the covers in the movie rental place. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's one that's like what's eating Harry something or fuck, I don't remember.
Yeah, isn't it like What's Eating Harry Crumb or something like that?
Yeah, something about Harry Crumb. I do believe that's right. I don't know if it's eating though, because I always get that confused with What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and I'm like, that is way different movie. Yeah. Way
different, but I would put that on pretty high up on like the top list of all time movies.
Oh, bro, that movie has a scene in it that is hard to watch because it is so heart wrenching.
Who's Harry Crumb? That's the movie.
Who's Harry Crumb? Thank you. Yeah,
that's the one that.
The one with the mom, like at the end. I don't want to get into spoilers. I don't want to talk about it because I might cry on
Leonardo DiCaprio giving one of his best performances ever. Yeah. I know what you mean. You know what movie I saw pop up on I think Hulu the other day that I haven't seen in forever? Fucking Powder. Do you remember that movie? Did you ever watch Powder?
Name sounds familiar, but it doesn't sound like one I would have watched. No.
Who is it that? Who's the star that I know? Some listener is screaming at me right now. Sean Flannery, the dude from fucking Boondock Saints, opposite Norman Reedus. He is like here you go. I'll read the IMDb. A mysterious albino teenager, Jeremy Powder Reed, is rescued from the basement in which he's lived in since birth, but the extremely intelligent Reed is not welcome into the community. Students at his school fear the outsider because of his bizarre ability to harness extrasensory perception and heal the sick. Like, basically he can heal people. I want to say he could control electricity or some shit. Like, it's a good movie. Like, it's one of those, I put it in the same vein as like Edward Scissorhands.
Okay.
Fuck, what was the movie we just talked about? Oh, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I put it in like that vein. Did you ever see Sling Blade?
Long time ago. I watched that movie hungover.
Fucking love that movie. But I put it in that sort of like 90s cult classic movies that like a lot of people don't talk about, but they are some of the best movies of all time.
This might not fall in that category, but there's a movie that I've been meaning to watch that's an older movie that I hear a lot of people talk about as a cult classic, Event Horizon.
Yeah, I've never seen that though.
Neither have I, but I've always heard that there's like some shit in it that like shit goes down in that movie apparently at some point. And then my buddy Dave told me about this movie called Bone Tomahawk, and I have that. I need to watch that too.
I don't think I've seen that, but it sounds familiar. Oh, speaking of movies, did you see the picture I put in Discord for you last week? I found my DVD copy of Vulgar. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I did see that. I was like, oh, hell yeah.
I thought I had bought it, and I was like, yeah, apparently I did, so.
I just need to watch that. Like, I saw somebody, I'm in a Kevin Smith fan group on Facebook, and somebody posted the other day, they were like, are we just not going to talk about Vulgar, like, being Kevin Smith's most fucked up thing that he's had his name on?
Yeah.
They're like, we get that Brian wrote it and everything, but I mean, come on. Like,
well, I mean, if you look at the cover, they use his name to like sell copies of the movie. So it's like Kevin Smith Presents or something like that. I would put it up there with trying to decide between that and Red State. Like Tusk was fucked up, but Tusk was like
silly fucked up.
Yeah, you could almost suspend disbelief for that movie. Like it doesn't seem realistic. Whereas like Red State and Vulgar, like, could and probably has happened in real life. So, like, it's a little more gut-wrenching, I would say.
I'm convinced somebody at Ubisoft watched Red State and was like, we could flesh this out, and then they made Far Cry 5.
Oh, I think so. I mean, it's pretty much your stereotypical...
Westboro Baptist douchebag.
Yeah, like your religious cults, yeah. So, I think, I don't know if I said it on the podcast, thinking that you cannot get Red State anymore. You can't buy it. You can't rent it on Amazon. Like, it's not in any video stores or anywhere. The only place you can find copies of it is you can buy physical copies of it on eBay for like $60. Like, or sell the 7 Seas.
You can see if Mr. Bay would let you borrow it.
Yeah. The thing about that though is I think it was some legal trouble with the Westboro Baptist Church why they can't sell that movie anymore.
Why? Because Homeboy did such a good job at being a fake version of their douchebag leader?
More or less. What's his name? He died a couple years ago, I think.
The actor?
Michael something?
Michael, oh, god damn it. Michael.
Let's see.
I should know this. He's a really good actor.
Michael Parks.
Michael Parks, yes, dude.
R.I.P. to him too. He was fucking phenomenal. Everything I've seen him in is just he's been amazing in.
You know who's dead and they were a way better actor than they got credit for was John Dunsworth. Yeah. Mr. Leahy. Like,
oh yeah.
Not only to play Leahy, but like I've seen him in other things, and I'm like, holy shit, he can do stuff that's not Leahy.
Oh yeah,
you know, it was weird. It's like when I saw James Gandolfini as not Tony Soprano. It was weird, but I'm like, damn, this guy's a good actor. Was
it you that shared the fucking Sesame Street episode he was on?
Yeah,
he was like, I'm scared of talking vegetables.
I'm afraid of the doc.
But like, I can't see him as anything other than Tony Soprano.
A murderous mob boss.
Everything I've ever seen him in, I'm like, that's Tony Soprano. And I mean, it's sad, but like that kind of happens. And that's one thing I'm super glad a lot of Hollywood studios have started casting lesser known actors. Because like Prey, for instance, we talked about last week. There was nobody like uber famous in that movie. So it was really immersive because I was like, I don't know these people. Whereas if you put Matt Damon in a movie, I'm like, that's Matt Damon. That's not Will Hunting. That's Matt Damon. Whereas like Charlie Cox with Daredevil, like nobody knew who the fuck Charlie Cox was when he got cast as Daredevil. So it's like, that's fucking Matt Murdock. Like I like that they're doing that. Chadwick Boseman, he was relatively unknown when he got cast as Black Panther. R.I.P. to him as well.
And it doesn't always work out because then you get your Ezra Millers.
Yeah. Yeah, you get your fucking weirdos. But, I mean, like, there are exceptions to that. Like, Robert Pattinson as Batman was fucking phenomenal. He really, you should watch that. It's on HBO Max. It's definitely worth watching. I fucking loved every minute of it. Speaking of
HBO Max, my mom is on season 3 of Game of Thrones.
Nice.
I'm like,
she's
Jesus
been
Christ.
rolling through that.
Yeah.
So she'd never seen it before?
No.
Oh, no. She is in for a fucking treat.
I got to tell you this story. So she comes in and because apparently the first season of Game of Thrones was free to watch on our cable.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was not. And so they hooked her in, right? So she is a massive Jason Momoa fan.
Oh yeah,
loves him, right?
I mean, he's a fucking sexy little piece.
So she starts talking. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of nudity in that show. She's like, yeah, I got to see a lot of Jason, not the parts I wanted to see. And I was like, yeah, he doesn't do full frontal. I was like, you got to see his butt though. And she goes, yeah, but and she makes this circle around her crotch. She goes, I wanted this area. I was like, that's wonderful. And I told her, though, I said, that was a show that I was going to sit down and watch with you and Dad. And that I watched some of it by myself and was like, I'm not watching this with my parents. Yeah. It's too much sex. It's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, I love my parents to death. And, if I needed to talk to them about things like that, I could. But, like,
sitting in the room with them watching it is awkward.
Awkward as hell. And there's a lot of it in Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever watch Oz on HBO?
No.
So Oz is fucking fantastic too. It's a
prison show, right?
It's a prison show, but it's at the time of it airing, a lot of people are saying it was like as realistic a depiction of maximum security prison as you could get. But like I was a teenager when that came out, but my parents let me watch it with them. And like my mom was saying, because there's fucking dicks galore in that show. Like you see fucking dicks everywhere. And my mom was like, good, I'm glad to see dicks in a show. She's like, because, there's always naked women and everything, but you never see naked dudes. And, like, I don't have a problem with it. Like, I think we've talked about it on here before. I'm secure enough in my sexuality. I don't mind seeing some dude's dick waving around. Like, doesn't bother me.
No, dude, I heard that Tommy Lee posted a picture of his dick the other day. I went and looked it up because I was like, I haven't seen this motherfucker in 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. It still takes up half the screen.
Yeah. Well, like when fucking Chris Evans accidentally leaked that nude photo, I'm like, I want to see Captain America's dick. Hell yeah, dude! Did you see that photo?
The one where he looked like a bro.
Yeah, where he's in the bathroom, like fucking kind of hunched over, just like gripping his dick like he's gonna rip it off with his fucking hat on backwards in the bathroom. Like, yeah. I'm like, dude, he's such a fucking bro. But yeah, I got a chance to see Captain America's dick. Fuck yeah. You know what? If I found out Gal Gadot leaked a fucking picture of her tits, I'm going to go find that one too. Because
I remember
Wonder Woman's boobies.
When Seth Rollins, he got a picture that got leaked during whatever was going on where everybody leaking. And people were like, oh my God, look how little his dick is. And I remember looking at it and going, well, I mean, my dick is bigger than his, but like, that's not a small dick by any stretch of the imagination. And I was like, not only that, like, no matter what you say about his penis, he gets to put that in Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
He wins.
Yeah.
End of story.
I don't care if his dick is 2 inches. He fucking wins.
Yeah, he gets to go home and snuggle up and have sex with one of the prettiest Irish women I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh, not even the fact that she's Irish, just she's one of the prettiest women and she's Irish.
Yeah.
Double fucking plus. Like she's fucking, yeah, he wins. And I'm like, people on the internet are just, they like the bitch though.
Do you remember when China did Playboy and everybody was like, yep, she's got a huge clit, blah, 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 look at her, ha, ha, ha. I was like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I would have married China if I had the opportunity.
Oh, dude, not only that, like, I had an ex-girlfriend who had a bigger clit than normal, and it just makes your job easier.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, not at all.
I've been meaning to do this, and maybe we'll do this for a Patreon episode or something, but I have a box of Playboys over here.
Nice.
And I've been meaning to go through them and just like look at the years and see like who was the centerfold and things like that. Because I have a few of them that are like actually worth some money. Like one of them's got Bo Derek.
Nice.
And that one's worth a pretty penny. Like last time I looked it up, now I don't know how any of this works. I'm not a collector. I just happen to have these, right? Yeah. I was looking up this magazine and I was seeing it sell. Now I won't say sell. I was seeing it listed from anywhere from like $150 to $27,000. I don't know why.
Well, the thing about it is you can list the shit for whatever you want to list it for. So yeah.
Who's going to pay that?
Exactly.
I do have an issue though that was a variant cover.
Oh yeah.
And apparently that one's worth like over $1,000, like solidly is worth over $1,000. I'm like, fuck yeah. Just like, a magazine.
Dog's like, too bad all the pages are stuck together now.
No, actually, well, no. Oh, actually, I have not flipped through them all, so I don't know if the previous owner has gotten any of them stuck together. But I will say that I've found those since the invention of the internet. So no, they're clean. I have actually read the articles in some of them.
Oh, dude, do you remember when a picture of a girl's tits could get you off?
It still can. For me, like every now and then, like Courtney.
Well, I mean,
for example,
it's one thing if it's somebody you know, but I'm talking about just like a generic picture of, like a fucking just a random picture in a Playboy. You could look at that and finish the job. Like internet porn has fucking ruined our society.
It's definitely desensitized us for sure. For sure. Yeah. You know what's something I've realized too, and this is something that we could talk about on that episode, is that like I have Playboys from the 70s.
Yeah.
And they're like half an inch thick.
Oh yeah.
Maybe an inch thick. I have like the newer ones and they're like a standard magazine size. They're like way smaller. And I'm like, God damn, this used to have so much more in it.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
Dude, I remember like as a kid you would have you'd find Playboys and shit like that, but every now and then you would find like a Hustler or something that was like a little more hardcore. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm fucking ripping my dick off tonight.
I remember the first time that I saw Penthouse and I saw a girl licking another girl's pussy. It freaked me out. It did. I was like young enough that tits really excited me, but I hadn't really seen much else.
Yep.
And I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yep.
So we were talking about people being shitty on the internet.
Yes.
And we could compare those types of people to computer viruses, sir. So I see that you have this.
So for some reason, I was riding to work this morning, and like I just thought about like computer viruses. We both grew up through like the Napster and LimeWire area. We both lost computers to fucking fake porn virus sites and LimeWire viruses and shit. It always fucking bugged me because like, what was the point of giving you a virus that killed your computer? Like
trolling.
That's what I never understood. Like, what is this person gaining by doing this? I could understand like spyware. I remember a buddy of mine had found a virus file that like gave you remote control over someone else's desktop.
Yeah.
Like that shit I understand. But like just sending out a virus that just fucking grenaded your computer, what was the point?
Those types of people ended up starting a site called 4chan.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I did find out later on, a lot of the viruses came from companies like Norton. And it was basically to get you to buy antivirus software. They would stick viruses out all over the fucking internet. Because then, first time you brick that fucking computer and you got to go buy a new one, you're like, oh, I'll pay the $100 for the antivirus software. So
capitalism.
Yeah.
It's fucking cocksuckers.
Yeah. It was always the fucking worst when like have your computer and then all of a sudden a bunch of porn pop-ups start popping up and you're like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh shit. And you're like, there's nothing you could do at that point but just watch the motherfucker melt down.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you download a song from LimeWire and you'd play it and it would just be like, I did not have sex with that woman.
Yep.
And you're like, God damn it, Bill Clinton. Go away.
Yep. I remember downloading. I remember like "White America" by Eminem, And that, like right before that album came out, like I downloaded a version of that song, and all it was the fucking part where he was just like, "White America," over and over for like 4 minutes. I was like, "Really, awesome. Motherfuckers?"
It used to be awful about naming songs wrong too. Like,
oh yeah,
I remember my buddy had 2 versions of Avenged Sevenfold's Backcountry. One was the actual song Backcountry. The other one was the song On Wings of Lead by Bleeding Through.
Yep.
But it was on LimeWire. It was Backcountry by Avenged Sevenfold.
Yep, I remember that.
I downloaded a Lacuna Coil song one time that ended up being by a band called Leaves Eyes. Like, it's just, God, it's so many, like, Weird Al got hit hard because so many people would take, like, racist and sexist fucking songs and upload them as Weird Al parodies.
Yep.
And they weren't really him, you know?
Like, I remember there's a band called Buckethead. Guitarist, like, plays with a KFC bucket on his head. You heard of them?
Yeah.
Yes. So there's a song that's a narrative about Buckethead. Do you know the song I'm talking about?
No.
I
Sounds
had
like
this
a Primus song.
That's what I'm saying. It was listed as Buckethead by Primus. I cannot find that song now anywhere. But on fucking LimeWire or Napster or whatever, it was Buckethead by Primus.
Have you ever searched song about Buckethead?
No. You act like I put effort into anything I do, Dalton. Let's see.
Hold on. No, I'll do it. Hold on. I'm gonna make you wait for it.
No, I'm already doing
Put your phone down, Jeremy, goddammit.
Let's see.
I don't know what to say, man.
Let's see if this is it. The Ballad of Buckethead. Song by Buckethead.
Well, I know Buckethead doesn't sing is the only thing. So I know he brings in people to sing, though.
Yeah. Yep, that's it. Buckethead found his freedom at the age of 17 when he burned the chicken house down with a quart of gasoline.
Well, there you go, motherfucker. How hard was that to figure out that song that you hadn't heard in years? You couldn't figure out what it was.
Let's see.
It's the power of Google. We have information at our fingertips.
Buckethead, guitar. Brian Mantia, drums. Les Claypool, vocals and bass.
There you go.
So let's see if it's on Spotify. That may be what it is. I may have looked it up on Spotify and been like, can't find it.
Oh, I'll Spotify, all right.
Okay, it is on Spotify. Okay, mystery solved. Thank you, Scooby-Doo. So yeah, I'll throw that out there. Go listen to the Ballad of Buckethead. Pretty good song.
Oh yeah.
Not my song of the week this week, but I'm gonna listen to it when we're done recording. But yeah, like you were saying, LimeWire and Napster were terrible for listing songs as the wrong thing altogether.
Yeah, all the time.
And then to be like the hot new Britney Spears song, I'll say, you're like, I'm going to download the new Britney Spears song, and it's like Britney Spears toxic.exe. And like motherfuckers would download it because they didn't know any better, and then boom, blue screen of death.
There's your virus. Yeah.
Yep. Viruses, do viruses still exist? Like other than spyware?
Yeah.
Or it's just like everything is so at our fingertips that we don't actually have to go dig through those fucking trenches to find shit anymore.
Oh no, dude. Like there's some sites that I get games from sometimes that are shady.
Yeah.
And it's definitely like so it'll bring up this thing and it'll be like, click here for your download link.
Yeah.
Right? So you click that and it brings up this thing that's like such and such.exe, and I'm like, cancel. I gotta click it 4 times and hit cancel, and the 5th time I click it, it gives me the rare file that I'm actually looking for. So yeah, it still exists, but like I feel like as a people we should be smarter than that now. You know what I mean?
Well, like you said, everything is so at our fingertips now that like you can go on Amazon and rent a movie for $4. You don't have to go dig through some shady ass website to try to watch this movie. Like there's literally 7 Seas websites out there you can go find this shit on. Like
and just one thing about Pirate Bay that they've done over the past, I don't know how long, but like it's become a better system these days, is when people list torrents, if there's somebody who's like a well-respected uploader, they'll have like a little crossbone thing next to their name with a certain color.
Yeah.
And you can more often than not trust those uploads.
Yeah.
You know, it's just little things that you got to learn.
I feel like the internet has evolved and we as a people have evolved so much that we don't have to it's not the Wild West as much anymore as it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. It's like there's people who are like street smart and there's book smart. I also think there are people who are net smart.
Oh yeah.
And it's just knowing what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
That was one of the questions in my
you don't have to go to shady ass porn sites anymore because you can just go to X Hamster or Pornhub or something like that.
Pornhub, yeah, XNXX, yeah. There's all kinds of sites. That was one of the questions from my interview, where she was like,
"What porn sites do you frequent?"
No, I'd have been there forever going through that. No, she was like, "Are you apt to, do you have aptitude with a computer? Are you good at computers?" And I was like, "Ma'am, I spend every day working on a computer. I didn't say this, but I wanted to be like, I am probably better at a computer than you."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean? And that's no offense to her. It's just, I do a lot of computing every day. So I don't know. But I'm just glad that we've moved past LimeWire and things like that.
Oh,
like they were good for their time.
Yep.
But I'm glad file sharing has evolved.
Yes. Fucking Lars.
Fucking Lars.
Fucking Lars. You killed Napster, Lars.
So, did you check out the THQ Nordic digital showcase?
Yes, I did. I watched the video upload before we started recording while I was setting up my 3D printer and trying to do other shit.
Hell yeah. I watched it. I don't know if it was like as it was happening or if I caught it like an hour after it had finished or whatever, but there was a few things that jumped out to me, so we can like run through the stuff.
Now, I want to say I did not like the format they used at the beginning. Like I felt like it was kind of shitty because it starts off with like that like low poly Fox game, and it's like, dude, like they go through like 10-second snippets of games. There was no sound at first. For like the first like 2.5, there was no sound, and then it just starts playing like rock music in the background. I'm like, I thought maybe like the link was fucked up or something.
All of those games they showed in the beginning were previews of games that they're going to be showing off at Gamescom.
Okay.
But yeah, it was weird that there was no sound.
I didn't like that at all. That was really fucking weird.
And I guess they were just trying to hype their appearance at Gamescom and everything. But it was like, if you're doing this showcase, why not just showcase all your shit here?
Either showcase it here or wait until Gamescom. You don't need to do this weird ass like sizzle reel of like indie games that you're going to be showing off in a month.
Now, my first and foremost shout out I got to give was, I could not believe when it started. Did you recognize the girl?
No, I did not recognize her, but she is very pretty.
So that's Elle from PlayStation Access. Do you remember the other night when I was telling you, when we were having the conversation about YouTube chicks?
Yeah.
And I said, I think you would really like Elle. She used to be a part of PlayStation Access. And I sent you that picture. And that's the same chick. She's now moved on to like doing stuff like this. So nice. I was like, I had a little like PlayStation Access fanboy moment. I was like, oh, Elle, I'm so proud of you. And she did good.
She's definitely gorgeous too.
She has one of the prettiest smiles I've ever seen. Yeah. And she's very comfortable on camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so the first thing that they announced is something that I only know like a decent bit about, but is the Alone in the Dark remake.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
It looks cool, but like I don't know the Alone in the Dark series.
I don't either. The fact that they opened with House of the Rising Sun though, like I love that fucking song. It's one of the like. What's funny is the original version is not super creepy. The Buffaloes, I think, is who sings it. But like it's a song that you can make so fucking creepy.
Yeah, I like to call that like when you take a song and make it creepy, you're making it haunting.
Yeah,
because you put that like
they use it in promos for one of the American Horror Story seasons. Like they use it in this where some little girl is like singing it creepily while she's hanging her doll by a noose. Like,
yeah, super. Like, what a way to start your show as a kid with a noose around its neck. But yeah, so this is a brand new Alone in the Dark survival game, developed by Pieces Interactive and the writer of Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and Soma. So I can tell you right now, if it's the guy from Amnesia, it's probably going to be at least scary and pretty mind bending. Like that guy's good at what he does. Alone in the Dark is a love letter to the original Alone in the Dark, telling a brand new story in this Southern Gothic horror.
Looked interesting. I might check it out.
The next one was Tempest Rising. It looks cool. It's a strategy game.
Yeah, I'm not super into strategy, so
RTS with RPG elements.
Yeah,
but it looked good. I'll give them that. It looked good. Then I saw. So, what did you think of Recreation? And that's Rec with a W. Recreation.
That looked pretty interesting to me. Like at first, it looked when they were showing the like tracks being built and shit, it looked very Trackmania, which Trackmania is really fun, like fast-paced arcade racer. Like a time trial sort of game. So I was thinking it was going to be something along the lines of that. It looks almost like that and Wreckfest had a baby. So I'm thinking it might be pretty good. I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, it's apparently it's by some ex-developers of games like Burnout and Need for Speed. So they at least know what they're doing.
Oh yeah. The lighting, now I don't know that it was gameplay footage. It was probably just cutscenes, but like the lighting looked really good in it.
What's interesting to me about this game is it drops you into a big, massive sandbox, and then you get to just create tracks.
Yep.
And it looked insane, like some of the shit that the developers have come up with.
Looked very Hot Wheels-esque.
Yeah.
You got like half pipes and loop-de-loops and shit that you're racing on. Like the one scene where it showed like it went up and to the left, and like cars were like taking the turn too wide and just flying off the track. Like that shit looks really cool. It's going to be super frustrating, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, and then up next was a game that probably didn't jump out to you, but this game was right up my alley. It's called Space for Sale.
That actually looked kind of interesting. That was the one where you're like a space realtor.
Yeah, you're like this little dude and you're trying to like build plots on these. You bought a solar system or something like that. Yeah. And you're trying to turn it into livable places for aliens. And
yeah, that looked interesting. I think it might be worth a get up and go.
Yeah, I'll be checking that one out. Hopefully it'll hit Game Pass or something.
Yeah.
So this next one actually prompted me to go and buy the first one because it was on sale. I assume because of the announcement. Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. Which, did you play the originals back in the day, Destroy All Humans?
I did not play the originals because I wasn't a PlayStation kid. I did buy the remake on Xbox One though, and I played it. It was fun. It was just zany, like it was a really pretty game. It was hella fucking hard, like especially that last battle. Holy fucking shit! But yeah, it was interesting. What kind of pissed me off was by the time I had finished playing it, they put it on Game Pass, and I was like, damn it, I could have just played this on Game Pass. But yeah, second one might be pretty good.
The humor is like a big part of it for me. The game is funny,
and I really wanted to just go through and just like eradicate all the humans I could find.
I used to like hitting them with the anal probe gun.
That, and then I love the fucking gun you use where it pulls their brain out. That was really cool.
Up next was the Gothic remake trailer. Do you know anything about Gothic?
I do not.
Okay, so this is a game I have on PC. It was an RPG game back in the day. Kind of got overshadowed by like Oblivion and things like that.
Yeah.
But basically, you get dropped into this prison mining colony, and you are not a hero. You are a dude. Like, if you want to get good with a sword, you have to go train with a sword and get better at using a sword. Like, it is very much it doesn't hold your hand. People are constantly going to try to, like, double cross you, and you can get yourself into situations that are going to fuck you over. It's a very interesting game for sure, and the aesthetic's really cool though, and I really do enjoy it. And they're remaking it.
You know something I've always wanted in a game, and I've never found it. I've always wanted a game where you were able to kill everyone in the game, to where like you get to a point where it's just you as the only person left alive. I've never found a game that let you do that. Like say Red Dead Redemption 2, but you could literally kill any and everyone, and if you kill them, they didn't come back.
There's probably a mod for that for Skyrim, if you really wanted to try that.
Yeah, but Skyrim sucks, though.
Yeah, but you could kill everyone.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have fun doing it.
I don't know what to tell you then.
I don't know. Probably, if I could do it in Red Dead 2, I'd probably do that. Like, I just think it'd be cool to just be like, kill everybody, then just be riding around and like there's just dead, decaying bodies everywhere. There's no one around. You just go in the store and take what you want because you killed the shopkeep. Like somebody just rides into town and was like, "What the fuck happened here?" And then just blow their brains out.
I've been thinking about playing some more Red Dead 2.
Oh, it's such a good game. I sold it to a guy at GameStop Monday. I went to visit a friend of mine. It was her last day last day with GameStop. She was the store manager there. So I went and hung out with her for a little while. A guy came in. He's like, "I really want a good single-player Xbox game." And I was like, "Man, like as much as an Xbox fan as I am, like that's PlayStation's territory." And it's like, but they had Red Dead 2, and I just like preached, like just sang the praises of it enough that he decided to buy it.
Hell yeah. Well, maybe hopefully he'll enjoy it.
I hope so.
Up next was Jagged Alliance 3.
Which one was that?
It's a sequel to Jagged Alliance 2.
Yeah, that doesn't narrow it down any.
It reminded me of like XCOM style.
Oh, the real-time strategy one, yeah.
But it was more like African Warzone styles instead of aliens.
Yeah, I kind of zoned out during that one. I don't really care about real-time strategy stuff.
It looked all right. I would check it out if it was on Game Pass. So Outcast 2. This is the one that was odd to me because I have Outcast 1. Hold on, let me look up.
Say, isn't Outcast the game Steph's been playing?
No, that's Outlast.
Outlast, okay.
That's Outlast, yeah. Outcast. Okay, so I have an enhanced version. Let me look up when Outcast originally came out. Outcast.
The year was 1874.
So they're releasing Outcast 2. Outcast 1 came out July 31st, 1999.
Fun
so
stuff.
The big thing with Outcast was it was like a big sprawling world, but like a lot of the overworld terrain and things like that.
Yeah.
And like I think all of it was made out of voxels.
Oh, nice.
So it looks odd, but it's like super quirky in its own charming way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're finally making a sequel to that. So that's going to be hopefully good. More sci-fi and alien. There's like a lot of sci-fi and dinosaurs going on these days.
Yeah, they were very sci-fi heavy in this showcase.
Next up was Knights of Honor 2, which was another like real-time strategy type game. The one that I shared and tagged Nate in, and I don't even remember if he commented on it or not, was SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake.
Yeah, I saw that. That looked interesting.
I like SpongeBob, so like I have a soft spot in my heart for SpongeBob, and so any games like that I'll be into. Up next was The Valiant, which was another strategy game. So the last one, which I think this game came out today or comes out in a couple days or whatever, was Way of the Hunter.
Yeah, that looked interesting.
Bro, if I am all about that because I really like the Hunter Call of the Wild.
Yeah.
And this just looks like another game like that, and I'm all about it. Hunting games and fishing games, I fucking love them. I don't do it in real life, but
to me, they're either really great or completely forgettable. Like, I either play it obsessively or I play it for like 15 minutes and never play it again.
Yeah. So Epic gave away the Hunter Call of the Wild for free a while back. And then I have it on Steam. And something that I thought is cool that they do in Hunter Call of the Wild is like when you're playing single player, you have to buy the DLC if you want to play the different DLC parks and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But if you go online and play online with random people or say your friends and stuff, you have access to all of the stuff.
Nice.
So I would really like to get together like a crew, like a few of us, and hop on and just go do some hunting. But I mean, like, Hunter Call of the Wild, bro, is like hunting.
Simulator, yeah. I tried it and I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Shoot that motherfucker and you got to follow the blood trail.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
They shoot
it's
that
definitely
motherfucker
a little more
in the head. There is no blood trail when the brain gets splattered. Now, dude, there was one of the Cabela's games. I think it was like Dangerous Hunts, maybe like 2013 or something. So the Cabela's games were Activision games. Activision makes Call of Duty. So one of them was a first-person shooter with Call of Duty controls, and I was super into Call of Duty then. I played the shit out of that game because it was like fucking Call of Duty, but you killed animals instead. And be like, oh, look, there's a fucking bear. And you're just like, bah, get my fucking AR-15 out and blow his fucking face off.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That one was really fun. There was also the Dangerous Hunts that had the actual gun controller that came with it. I bought that from my dad one Christmas or something. And like, dude, we played the shit out of that. I tagged Nate in that new fishing game. It's like almost like an anime style fishing game for Switch, and it comes with the rod and reel controller attachment for the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
Really curious if that's any good. Because like if that's good, I would buy that. Because I think that if I could find a good like rod and reel fishing simulator game or just fishing game, I could get down with that for a while.
We have our eye on, so the people who made Ultimate Fishing Simulator are working on a game called Tales from Herring Lake.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a fishing simulator meets an Alfred Hitchcock story.
Nice.
So like we don't know what the hell that's going to be, but sign us up.
You know what game you would like, and Nate might like it too. Did you ever play Legend of the River King? It was on Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Okay, so I've heard about those games, and I have the PS2 ROM on my on my computer, but I've been meaning to check those out because I've heard that they're fantastic.
I don't know about PS2, but I know the Game Boy Color one is fucking amazing. It's like if Pokemon were a fishing game. It's so fucking good. I want a copy of it, but I want a complete in box original Game Boy copy, and they're hella expensive. Woo. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'll have to check that out. Maybe I'll check that out tonight, looking for something to play. So that was the last trailer they showed, and they bid there for a while, and it came up, and it said, thanks for watching, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then this little screen popped up. I don't know if you stuck around for the very end.
Oh, yeah.
So it pops up at the end, and it says, we still have 26 unannounced games.
Yeah.
And then the 26 gets scratched out, and it pops up 25.
Yeah.
And you start hearing, hot, 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 or something like that, and it shows up, and it just says South Park Studios.
Yeah.
And then fades out, and that was it.
Yeah.
And I got goosebumps right now. Bro, the South Park games are so fucking good.
Oh,
and
yeah. They put so much love into those fucking games.
Yeah, and we're getting another one. Yes, bitch.
Now, I will say, the Stick of Truth, I fucking loved. I liked
Fractured
Butthole, but I did not like the changes they made to the combat. I was not a fan of that.
They made it a little different. Yeah.
Like they took it from turn-based RPG to
grid-based RPG.
Yeah, like grid-based, almost like real-time strategy, which like I said, I'm not a fan of. And I just don't like the grid-based. Like Mario and Rabbids, I wasn't a fan of that. Like, I don't like grid-based combat. I like Pokemon, and Pokemon is turn-based. That's what I like. Well, if it's going to be turn-based, I want it to be that kind of turn-based.
So that kind of turn-based that they have, the grid-based combat, that's also like in Trails in the Sky, that's in Disgaea. There's a bunch of different games that have that style. It's still technically turn-based. It's just a different kind.
Yeah, but fuck those games, because I don't like grid-based.
Yeah, but you also don't like a game if it doesn't look like it's a 4K masterpiece. So shut the fuck up.
I like the Stick of Truth.
Yeah, but that game looks like a South Park episode. There's difference.
True.
There's
Dude, the funniest shits when you're shrunk down in your parents' bedroom. They're fucking going to Pound Town. You gotta like dodge your mom swinging tits and your dad swinging balls.
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
That game is so fucking good.
I would like to play one of those games with the boys. I know we did the Stick of Truth for the show, and it was me and Ryan.
Yeah.
But I've been telling Nate and Willie that I'd really like to, for the Steam Machine podcast, for those of you that don't know, well, I'd like to go back and redo some of those games with these guys, because I think that they would really enjoy them.
Oh, yeah.
We just haven't done that yet. And the Stick of Truth is one of those that I think that they would really
That's a fucking phenomenal game.
I think that Nate and Willie are fans of South Park. I'm not sure. I know Nate doesn't like Seinfeld.
Yeah, he said that earlier, so I had to scratch him off my friends list.
So, I don't know. He might like South
Serenity now.
Serenity now. I do know. Actually, you know what? I think we've had this conversation before, and he said that he likes South Park, but he doesn't like Family Guy. That might have been what it was. Anyway, I'm hyped for a new South Park game.
Oh, yeah.
Which I believe.
No, you did skip one. You did skip one game in the showcase, yeah.
I didn't. Oh, it wasn't in his list then.
The video started out the hallway of a hotel.
Oh my God, you're right. It's not even, that game looks so shitty. It's not even in this fucking list of games. Okay. Oh my God.
So yeah, that trailer was fucking garbage too.
Bro, I felt bad for Britt Baker and Tony Schiavone. So they showcased AEW Fight Forever.
Yes.
Okay. And I get that they're trying to go for like that No Mercy feel, but they didn't have to like go for No Mercy graphics.
I was going to say, like, when they announced they were doing an AEW game, they're like, we're going to make it like No Mercy, like the N64 wrestling games everybody loved. I thought they meant gameplay wise, not graphically, because these motherfuckers look like they could have come out on like PS2. Like, that trailer they showed was absolute fucking horseshit. Like,
and
she smacks, who was it she was fighting in the ring? I can't remember.
It was Britt Baker versus CM Punk, I think.
No, it wasn't CM Punk. It was, what's the other guy? Not Kenny Omega, but the other big guy.
Moxley?
No, it wasn't John Moxley.
Adam Page?
Yeah, not Adam Page, but it was Adam something. But she was...
Adam Cole? Adam
Cole. She smacks him with a chair. His head just like the seat of the chair disappears and just the frame of the seat is around his neck. He gets smacked in the face with a chair. He doesn't fall down to the mat. Like, why the fuck did they show that? Like, if that's the best they can do, fucking just put that shit on a shelf and forget about it. Like,
dude, when she hit him with that chair and his head just instead of like the chair bending or anything, his head just glitched through it and it just stuck on. I was like, wow.
She hit him with a trash can, like put the trash can on his head. It was literally like the rim of the trash can was halfway down his face. It was just floating there above his head. Like, that game looked so fucking bad. But
the wrestling's bad, but it has mini games.
Yeah, it has mini games, and the controls are really easy because Britt Baker picked it up that day, and she was already the best player on it because she's the only motherfucker that's actually played it.
Yeah, there was a dancing mini game, and like I don't even remember the other ones. At that point I was like,
I remember
what
because
fuck?
You posted it in the Discord and you were like, it has a dancing mini game and a batting cage mini game. And I think Nate was like, well, to be fair, so does Yakuza 0.
No, that was Willie. And yeah, but like Yakuza 0 also was good.
Yakuza 0 is a goddamn masterpiece, and this is a unabated train wreck. I
am just very much like
just seeing
what the fuck happened.
I was just like, because I heard like, oh, the AEW game, you know, like I was looked down at my phone. I'm like, okay, let's see what this looks like. Because I know you said it was bad. I was like, I want to see how bad it actually is. And holy fucking shit. Like, the only thing that they could even think to use to redeem it against 2K22 was the controls are simplistic. Like, one button moves and shit like that. And it's like, guess what? Yeah. I've got 2K22. Controls ain't that fucking hard in that game. Like,
no, but I do want to.
They remapped it to where it's a lot easier to pull off most of your moves in 2K22.
But I do want to say that 2K22, the controls are still kind of in depth. If you want to, like, if you want to do the like intricate stuff, it's there.
Yeah.
Whereas this was looking like you're just throwing combos together, like you're playing Street Fighter, but you're in a. Do you remember? Did you ever play like Legends of Wrestling on PS2, Xbox?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that.
Yeah, and that game was a doo-doo.
That was one of those games that I played it because I had it and I loved wrestling.
Yeah. You played
That's
it
what I'm doing
protest.
Tonight. I'm going to emulate that game tonight and see if I can't. Because
wasn't that the one where all the characters were like super ballooned and like really shitty like graphical quality? Like,
it was all like Hulk Hogan and all those guys.
Hulk Hogan and Andre and Roddy Piper and oh man, like that game. If that's what they chose to show off, like, why the fuck didn't you just make a fucking CG like fake gameplay video and put that up and just like at least lie and act like it's gonna be good? Because like, man, that looked like horseshit. And like I said, I'm rooting for them. I want a good AEW game, but Jesus Christ, that was so fucking bad. Like, holy hell.
Yeah, and it's laughable that they think that that's going to compare to 2K22.
Yeah. Like that. What's funny is you had that WWE 2K Battlegrounds that came out that like wasn't very well received. That looked better than this. That looked miles better than this.
I have Battlegrounds. I've been meaning to check that out, but that's more of an arcadey type game. Yeah. It's not a wrestling game. And it's almost like okay, so this is like a perfect sandwich of AEW, okay, in my opinion. Their wrestling gameplay looked absolutely shit.
Yeah.
The other stuff was fine.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel about AEW, is like some of the people on the mic are really good. A lot of the matches that I see in the ring, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Now, not everyone. There are some people who are really fucking good at what they do.
Yeah.
But those people do not always get all the TV time. Anyways. Yeah, dude. All I'm going to say is you can drop a game.
Yeah. Yeah, that game.
You have a game drop.
So, well, to be fair, if that's what it looks like, that motherfucker ain't coming out this year anyways. Like.
That's true.
That like, it looks like somebody in the development was like, No Mercy is their favorite game of all time, and they're like, we're gonna remake No Mercy with an AEW roster. That's what it looks like. You know how motherfuckers will take like NCAA football 2K or 14, and they'll update it with the 2022 roster of players. That's what this is. Somebody took fucking No Mercy and they modded it to have AEW wrestlers and arenas and shit in it. That's what it fucking looks like. It looks like an N64 ROM.
And okay, so to be a little more fair, I'll give it this. It looks more like WWF Here Comes the Pain on PS2. Like, it looks a little better than No Mercy did.
I was gonna say,
but we're using that as an example.
It looks like if No Mercy were made on the PS2 is what I was thinking. Like, if they made No Mercy as a PS2 era game, this is what it would have been. And like, that's not acceptable. Like, the PS2 is fucking 20 years old.
This is apples and oranges, what I'm about to say. But, hopefully it'll make sense. We get a trailer for a game like Starfield.
Yeah.
And that game looked the way it did. And it got delayed.
Yeah.
Then there's this AEW game that looks the way it does. And so far, no words of any delays. They're happy with that shit. What the fuck?
Yeah. Like,
although, I don't think there's a hard release date for it yet either. So
I don't think so, yeah. And like I said, if that's what they're going with, unless they come out and say this is a mobile game, like if that was a mobile game, probably okay looking mobile game. Free to play where you got to fucking pay for everything you want to do in it. But
I've seen PS4 cases for this game.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the thing. If you put this motherfucker on PS5 and Series X, you're going to fucking get laughed out of town. Like, no goddamn way you can get away with that.
Unless they fix those bugs and the gameplay is fun, then they'll get away with it. But again, like Yakuza having the mini games and stuff added to it because it was quirky and it was a side break from the freaking story that was just in your face. Like when you needed a break from that, you could go do the side stuff and chill.
Yep.
What the fuck happens in a wrestling game that you're like, man, I need to go hit some baseballs?
Yeah.
Like, what? I feel like I should be dancing right now. I want to guess what luchador is in the barrel.
Yeah.
What? It's not Mario Party. This isn't fucking Smash Brothers and Mario Party.
Maybe it's when your parents buy you the game for Christmas. That's to make up for how shitty the wrestling is. You're like, oh, at least I can go to the batting cages and do some dancing in it.
Maybe. I don't know. Fucking A. Let's get off of this. Sir, what's your song of the week?
Let's scroll down a little bit. So, my song of the week is actually a song I had on my playlist when I used Amazon Music. I fucking love this song, but I haven't heard it in forever since I switched to Spotify. And I was actually scrolling through, I think, TikTok the other night, and I see a video, and this song is playing in the background. I was like, what the fuck is that song? So, like, I fucking Shazammed it or something. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I fucking love that song. So it is called Keep the Wolves Away by Uncle Lucius. Did you listen to it when I sent it to you?
I had it on in the background while I was cooking. It was a very chill song.
It's very chill. It's very like melodic. Kind of a mix of like country and blues. But yeah, it's such a fucking good song. Good song for your soul. So
yeah, I did listen to it. Did you listen to mine? No, because you didn't even know I sent it to you.
Yeah, I did not. I'll have to listen to it after the show.
You motherfucker.
I'm like, Dalton, what's your song of the week we're about to record? He's like, oh, I already sent it to you. By that point, I scrolled up and was like, oh, he did send it to me. Well,
I sent it to you 2 hours ago.
In my defense, Dalton texted me this morning and was like, I can't decide what song. And I was like, you get 52 picks a year. Just choose one at random. And he's like, no, I got to put a lot of thought into this. I was like, you really don't. I've literally come down to recording and just like pulled up my Spotify and just like swiped the screen once and was like, oh, there we go. Song of the week.
Jeremy, but you are not a musician. You are not a guitar player. Like, this shit has meaning to me. I have put years of my life into this craft. It means so. I have to like have my choices. So this week, there's a band I've talked about before, Unleash the Archers. The lead singer is Brittany Slays, is what they call her, right? They're from Canada. I think she has one of the best, not just female vocals. She is one of the best vocalists in metal. Yeah. Her range is fucking nuts. So there's an old song that's like I don't want to call it a shanty, but it's like an old folk song called Northwest Passage. Yeah. And they did a cover of it. And so that's my song of the week, is Unleash the Archers, Northwest Passage. It's very like, starts off and it's kind of like a song that people would be singing at the end of the night in a bar as they're all drunk and stumbling out type thing. And then as the cover goes on, it just drops into like this power metal version of it. And it's fucking good, man. I really enjoy it a lot. And the music video is odd, but cool.
Nice.
So yeah, those are I'm thinking about starting a Spotify playlist. Do you still have our notes from all these episodes?
Hell no. They get deleted after each episode. I thought about the same thing this morning, though. I was like, it'd be cool to make like a Yabs Pod public playlist with all our songs of the week on it, where people who listen can just go in their Spotify, pull it up, and listen to all the songs. So
luckily, I have the website, and it's got all of our songs of the week on there, so I can still make that happen.
Nice.
But yeah, that was a thought that I've been having for like the past week, and I just haven't gotten around to.
If you're on Spotify, look for an eventual Yabs Pod playlist.
Yeah, I'll post it in the Discord over at bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all capital letters. So yeah, I guess that just leads us to the community questions, sir.
Yes, sir.
Before we get to that, I am going to go drain the one-eyed wonder worm, so I will be right back. Whew, sorry about that. My eyes were floating.
That was a really quick piss, if truncated silence worked.
Yeah. I was about to say my bathroom is right there, so it's not too bad. All right, I was looking at this beautiful wall of questions that we have from our lovely listeners, and I was like, I need to go piss before we get into these.
Yeah, we love you all.
Yeah,
with
for
all
sure.
the piss in our bladders.
All the piss and vinegar in our bladders and hearts.
Yes.
So the first community question comes from Kana. Non-video game podcasts that Kana should be listening to.
So my top recommendation, if you like this show, you will love This Is Important. This Is Important is a podcast from the guys who did Workaholics. So you got Kyle Newacek, who was the director, and he was Carl on the show. And then you have Adam Devine, Anders Holmes, and Blake Anderson, who were the main characters in Workaholics. And it's literally very similar to this show. It's just them shooting the shit for like an hour once a week. And it's some of the most hilarious shit I've ever heard. Well worth the hour a week to listen to. Trying to think of any other non-video game podcasts that I listen to. Because I listen to like all the Steam Machine Productions podcast.
Hey.
I listen to the Completely Unnecessary podcast, which is technically a gaming podcast. I think Kana said she listens to that already. That's a really good podcast, though. There's one, I don't think they're doing it anymore, but there was a show called Was I in a Cult, where it was two hosts who had been in a cult, and they interviewed people who had been in and got out of cults, and that was pretty fucking interesting.
That does sound rad.
There was one I listened to. Let me see if I can find it. Go ahead and tell any you have, because this one was really cool.
Oh, get my shitty ones out of the way so we can talk about your cool one. I see.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of recommendations for you, Kana, if you would like to pull up your notepad or pull out a pencil and a piece of paper. Pause this. We'll give you time. So, first up, A Hot Dog is a Sandwich. It's just a hilarious podcast from the Mythical Kitchen. It is what it sounds like. They argue over food stuff. Like, is a hot dog a sandwich? And they have an episode about that. And one will argue one side and the other will argue the other side. And it's just very entertaining. I also recommend, he doesn't really release them that often, but and it's a well-known podcast, but Hardcore History is good if you're a history buff like I am. Ear Biscuits with Rhett and Link. Super entertaining if you're a fan of Good Mythical Morning. If you don't know Good Mythical Morning, check it out. It's good stuff. But Ear Biscuits is their podcast, and it is just tremendous stuff. Let's see. Click This with Kevin Nash, KLIQ. It's a wrestling adjacent podcast, but they don't talk about a lot about wrestling. But Kevin Nash is just a super entertaining dude, so like I recommend it because it's just a good listen.
Oh, I will say on top of that, it's a video podcast kind of, but the Broken Skull Sessions is really good if you're into wrestling. So the one Stone Cold does on, I think it's on Peacock now, where he just interviews like wrestlers or ex-wrestlers, and they talk about shit that happened in the ring and shit that happened behind the scenes and stuff. That's pretty entertaining show. Yeah,
absolutely. I watch that every time there's a new one. It's like immediately something that I go and watch. Here's one. So it's by a guy named John. I'm going to fuck this up. John Zhu, Z-H-U. And it doesn't release super often anymore. In fact, I think it might be over. He might have finished covering it, but it's a podcast about the Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
Oh, yeah.
So it's called Romance of the Three Kingdoms podcast. I just find the Romance of the Three Kingdoms super fascinating. Dynasty Warriors got me into it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Lu Bu and all of those motherfuckers. Dong Zhuo. I love it. Let's see. If you were a fan of The Sopranos, this show's over now, but it was great while it was running. It was Talking Sopranos, which was Michael Imperioli and Steve Sciarippa. So it was the guy that played Christopher and the guy that played Bobby doing a podcast where they would watch each episode of The Sopranos and do an episode about it and talk about their experiences and stuff. Fantastic show. I promise I'm getting through. Oh, look at that. I'm subscribed to Was I in a Cult? I must have been the last time you brought that up to me.
Yeah. Pretty good show.
The Simon Whistler Show. I love Simon Whistler. He does a lot of stuff on YouTube that I watch. I recommend his YouTube stuff more than I do his podcast. Which his YouTube is like casual criminalist and things like that. Like, it's really good.
What's the one with I think it's like Two Bears in a Hot Tub, the Brett Kishner and Tom Segura podcast.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry, it's Bert Kreischer. And Tom Segura. Two Bears, One Cave.
Two Bears, One Cave. Yeah.
That's a great one. I have that one too. And then the last one that I'll throw at you, Kana, that's not gaming related. Then I'm going to throw you two gaming related ones that are gaming adjacent. So the last one that's not, y'all know me, you know my musical preferences, you know I really like goth music. There's a podcast I listen to that I will tell anybody about who will sit and listen called Communion After Dark. And it is a podcast where each week there's like 3 DJs that get together. They each put together a playlist and they just spin the music. And then like once their set's done, they'll come in, they'll tell you what bands that were, what songs played. They have a shot of the week and then they go into playing more music and stuff. And it's just really good. I have found so much goth goodness from there. I found Kanga through them. I found Priest through them. Like so many of these bands that I absolutely fucking love now. That band that I heard, that was my song of the week last week. I heard on Communion After Dark. So, you know, if you listened to my song of the week last week and you were like, "Ooh, I like this. I could fuck to this." Listen to Communion After the Dark. It's really good. It's all goth, industrial, you know, goth pop. Like it's fantastic. Now, some gaming adjacent ones, just because I have to. Damn Chocobo is a show where they just cover Final Fantasy, but they long form cover it like they did Final Fantasy Tactics. I think they did it in like 15 parts or something like that. But they bullshit for like an hour and then they'll talk about Final Fantasy. They're two entertaining guys. If you're into Dragon Quest FM and another show called Slime Time are both really good Dragon Quest based podcasts. Kana, I know you're a fan of Tadpog, so I'm going to reference you to the other retro gaming podcast that I'm a big fan of, that I've always been a fan of too, and it was Tadpog and Factory Sealed. Factory Sealed Retro Video Gaming Podcast. I want to recommend those guys to everybody. And people who don't know who Tadpog is, Tyler and Dave Play Old Games. If you happen to be listening and you're a fan of Factory Sealed, check out Tadpog. Tyler and Dave Play Old Games. Like, I won't say they're interchangeable because they're different styles of show, but they're both very entertaining. And if you find me and Jeremy entertaining, you will probably find both of those shows entertaining.
Probably so.
And then the last video game adjacent podcast I want to bring up, other than our buddy Adam's podcast, Revival and Extinction, is a show called the Super Marcato Bros. And they cover video game soundtracks. They're both composers, and they talk about like the musical compositions and stuff. So if you're into music like I am, it's a really good show. And that's Marcato, Marcato.
So I'm going to suggest podcasts that aren't about video games because that's what the question was.
Eat a dick, Wang Chung.
So there's a podcast that came out back in 2018. I remember listening to it. It's only like 7 episodes long, I think, but it's called The Habitat. So I'm going to read this thing from their website. On a remote mountain in Hawaii, there's a fake planet Mars. 6 volunteers are secluded in an imitation Mars habitat where they will work as imitation astronauts for one very real year. The goal to help NASA understand what life might be like on the red planet and plan for the day when the dress rehearsals are over and we blast off for real. Host Lynn Levy has been chronicling this experiment from the moment the crew set foot in their habitat, communicating with them through audio diaries that detail their discoveries, their frustrations, and their evolving and devolving relationships with each other. From those diaries, Gimlet Media has crafted an addictive serialized documentary, The True Story of a Fake Planet. So basically, as it said, 6 volunteers were chosen to be sealed in. Basically, if they were to send us to Mars right now, this would be the habitat they would send that we would have to live in, or whoever went would have to live in. So they took these 6 volunteers, they sealed them in this thing. So even though they're on Earth, it's as if they're in Mars. They can only leave it in full spacesuits, like for very limited time. Basically doing mock like sample collections and stuff. But yeah, they had to live in this very small pod for a year. And it's actually a really, really interesting, like I said, sort of pseudo documentary about how they got along. How, like, I think one of them brought like a trumpet or some shit that they didn't know how to play. And they were like, I'm going to learn how to play the trumpet while I'm here. And everybody else was like, fuck this motherfucker. We're going to throw him outside with no spacesuit on. Like, it's interesting the way the shit goes through. And it made me think about, there was an ad for a podcast. I want to make sure I get the name right. Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's called The Partition. Let's see.
While you're looking that up, I just want to say the premise of that podcast gives me like this idea for Truman Show meets a horror movie idea.
Nice.
Like, ooh, that could be cool.
Pretty sure it's Partition. I think it comes out tomorrow. It's a girl who was born in Pakistan in 1990. And for anyone who doesn't know, partition was when the British separated India and Pakistan into 2 separate countries in 1947. And there was apparently a lot of, like, people were killed, people were, like, forced out of their homes. It was really, really bad for the people of that area. I learned a lot about it actually watching Ms. Marvel. They cover it pretty in-depth on the Ms. Marvel show on Disney+. And it kind of fascinated me. So when I heard the ad for this podcast, I was like, oh shit, I want to listen to that. So I've got it like followed on my Spotify so that hopefully episodes will pop up when they come out. Like I said, I think it starts tomorrow, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think I can't say it is, but I think that would be a good one to listen to if you're kind of into that kind of history.
That actually sounds right up my alley. Yeah, I love history, like, in general.
I usually don't, but I'm sort of almost like autism focused on like certain things. Like I'll hear about something, I'll be like, I want to know everything I can know about that. And for some reason, like
hyperfixation. Yeah.
Like a hyperfixate. Like, so like I heard about the partition and I was like, I want to know, like, why did this happen? How did it happen? Like, how did it affect people? So I'm going to listen to this podcast, see what I can learn about it.
Oh yeah, dude. That's what's up.
So yeah, that should give you enough to listen throughout every day of the week.
Yeah, that should be more than enough between all the shit that we gave you. Yeah. Plus, all the wonderful Steam Machine Productions podcasts that are floating around.
Yeah. Make sure you listen to Yav's Pod and Yav's Pod's Extra BS for those lovely Patreon subscribers.
This is a fucking question right here. Favorite deep cut song from your favorite artist?
So I was trying to think of this one because I'm trying to think of a deep cut song. I got a couple. So they're not a favorite artist of mine, but it's a song a lot of people don't know. It's called The Old College Tribe by the Mountain Goats. Fucking really good song.
I haven't thought about the Mountain Goats in forever, bro.
Yeah,
that fucking song they did. I hope you die. I hope we both die. Is so fucking good. That is. I tell people, I'm like, this is an anti-love song.
Dude, I used to tell people all the time, the Old College Tribe by the Mountain Goats is my favorite love song. I told my ex-wife that when we were together, and she was like, what do you mean? And the song is like a trash can fire in a prison cell, like the searchlights in the parking lot of hell. I haven't listened to the song in forever. I can't remember all the words now. Let's see. It's funny because if I listen to it, I'll remember every single word to it, but trying to pull it off the top of my head. So
dude, I was getting high listening to the Mountain Goats when I was 15.
So
a long time ago.
It's the song starts off, it's from the housetops to the gutters, from the ocean to the shore, the warning signs have all been bright and garish, far too great a number to ignore. From the cities to the swamplands, from the highways to the hills, our love has never had a leg to stand on. From the aspirins to the crosstops to the Ellavilles, but I will walk down to the end with you if you will come all the way down with me. And so basically, I try to explain it to her, like I said, it says, I can feel it in the rotten air tonight, in the tips of my fingers, in the skin on my face, in the weak last gasp of the evening's dying light, in the way those eyes I've always loved illuminate this place, like a trash can fire in a prison cell, like the searchlights in the parking lots of hell. I will walk down to the end with you if you will come all the way down with me. And I explained it to her. I was basically it's saying the prison cell, the parking lots of hell, that was me. That's how I felt on the inside. You were the trash can fire. You were the spotlight. You were the bright spot in an otherwise dingy and dark place. And she, when I explained it to her like that, she was like, wow, I get it now. And I was like, yeah, this is my favorite fucking love song because that's how I always felt inside. I always felt dark and dingy. And it's when you're in love, it's that little bright spot that takes away a little bit of that dark and dingy.
I can get behind that.
So what about
I
you?
love the fact that my deep cut is the complete fucking opposite. It's a song by Typo Negative. It's from their album October's Rust.
Yeah.
The song is called Burnt Flowers Fallen. Okay. It is a very, very melodic, pretty song.
Yeah.
He says about 3 verses in the whole thing. Over and over and over, he says, yeah, I think she's fallen out of love. Oh, no. And he says that over and over and over and over. Yeah. And it's the premise of the song is a man coming to terms that this woman that he loved is no longer in love with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the second time he does it, he says, oh, yeah, I know she's fallen. So it switches from think to know. And then, the one little, I guess you'd call it the bridge, he just says, all of the flowers I gave her, she burned them. And that typical Typo Negative, because it's Peter Steele, and he's got that super deep voice, but it is a beautiful fucking song. And, it's not the same, it's not the only song they have like that. On their album, I think, what was that album called? Machine Screw? No. It was their second, Bloody Kisses. Yeah. Their album Bloody Kisses. The final song is called Can't Lose You, and it's just this really pretty song where the only thing he says in that song is, oh, I can't lose you. But it's just he doesn't need to say anything else. The song is speaking for itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's just fucking, so yeah, Burnt Flowers Fallen, Typo Negative, fucking good song. Now, I want to give one more.
Yeah, good, because I've got 2 more after you do that one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I was thinking, okay, we're good. Mudvayne. From their people lump Mudvayne in with like new metal.
Yeah.
They're so not though. Like, so their album, The End of All Things to Come, is good from beginning to end. If you've ever heard Mudvayne's song like Not Falling or World So Cold, they're from this album. But there's a song on that album, 2 songs actually, that are deep cuts that are just fucking fantastic. One of them is called Mercy Severity. Now this is the one that I'm about to pull you, and I'm going to look up the lyrics for, because you got to hear some of the words that he would write. Mercy Severity lyrics. Yeah, he says, "We've come here from so far away, I can save you if you'll leave it all behind. This suffering has been far too long, but would you take a trip with me on the back of a star? I feel like Earth's gravity is here just to pull us down." And in the chorus he says, "Mother of creation, wait, embrace the souls of a lost world, carry them away. Darkness, negative, receptive, pour firmament between our waters, separate the space. Mother of destruction, wait, with a belt of skulls, strap me down and send the ship away. Progress with the process, mind their souls from the casts, pour form and reshape." What? You don't get lyrics like that in nu metal.
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't. He was a fucking really good at writing lyrics. And then the other one that they did on that album is called Shadow of a Man. And I'll just read the chorus from that one. He says, he's talking about looking at himself in the mirror, you know what I mean? And he says, "Is this a tool can I step through to find another plane, or just the shadow of a man? Are you my brother? You look like me. You're trapped inside another world. You're my lost twin. Just a superficial tool to support the vanity of the weak when you don't love yourself."
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. I don't know. Just really good lyricists. If people give Mudvayne a chance, at least their first 3 albums. After that, it was, but yeah.
So I've actually got 3 more to put up. One, I'm not sure if it counts as a deep cut because it's technically a feature, but I would say Eminem is one of my favorite musicians. So I'll say, like, from favorite, he did a song with Skylar Grey. Now, those who don't know Skylar Grey, she does
porn.
No, she does features on most of the, like, does a lot of like hip hop, like hooks and stuff like that. Like, do you remember that song by P. Diddy, Coming Home?
No.
Where it's like, coming home, tell the world. No, it was Dre, I think. I can't remember. I think it was P. Diddy. But she does like the female vocals for a lot of hip hop songs, stuff like. She's a very talented artist. But she did this song called Come On Let Me Ride, and Eminem does it with her, and it's like, it's catchy, it's kind of upbeat, fucking good ass song though. So check that one out if you like Eminem. His verse on it is really good. One I think at least we've talked about before. I love Third Eye Blind. So everybody knows Third Eye Blind, like Jumper,
I want something else.
Semi-Charmed Kind of Life, which blows my mind. They still play a song about smoking crystal meth on the radio.
Because the meth will mess you up until you drink. Yeah.
But they did a song called Slow Motion. I think I told you about it. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but it's fucking amazing. So, like, it starts out, it says, "Miss Jones taught me English, but I think I just shot her son because he owed me money with a bullet in the chest you cannot run." And, like, dude, it's fucking, that song is so fucking good. I need to send it to you so you can check it out. The third and final one you might actually know. Hold on.
Oh, take on my butthole, sir.
I'm gonna say Corey Taylor is the singer, not Slipknot though. So
is it Stone Sour or is it Apocalyptica?
Stone Sour.
Okay.
ZZYZX Road. Have you heard this song?
Yes, I've heard it. Yeah.
I
also, real quick, I want to say, Zeromancer has an album called ZZYZX.
Yeah.
So continue.
But yeah, that's it was I think it was the last song on that album. It was the album that came out. The hit on it was "I'm Looking at You Through the Glass."
So that album was Come Whatever May.
Yeah, Come Whatever May, which was also a good song. But yeah, ZZYZX Road, like that'll just pop into my head from time to time, and I have to listen to it like 6 times in a row because it's just such a fucking good song. Where he's like, "I'm way too tired to care, and I want to go home."
Dude, if you like that, there's a song by Slipknot that's off of their album, the Voluminal 3. I'm sorry. Yeah, Volume 3, the subliminal verses or whatever.
Yeah.
It's called Circle.
I know that song. Yeah.
It's an acoustic song. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then part 2 of Vermilion is an acoustic song, which is just really shows off that Corey Taylor can actually sing.
Dude, Corey Taylor, like, he's fucking talented. I'll give him that. One of the
coolest things I ever saw was we saw Stone Sour. Me and my dad went and saw. It was Non-Point opened up, then Flyleaf played, then Stone Sour, then Disturbed, right?
Yeah.
And when Corey Taylor was playing Bother, like, he was sitting there and he was singing it, and when he got to the chorus, he started to sing it, and he just backed away from the microphone and just played guitar and let the crowd sing the rest of the fucking song. And he was like, that right there, he goes, what you guys just did is going to be the reason that we come back to this Jacksonville every fucking tour we go on. And they have been ever since. They always come to Jacksonville.
Nice.
I was like, that's fucking cool, man. Yeah. God, I had some other ones. Like the Beatles, Tell Me What You See, I think is the name of the song. The George Harrison song. It's beautiful. Man, what the fuck? I had a Disturbed, speaking of them. So they released an album that was all B-sides that didn't make it to like their actual album. And it was better than like the last few albums they had put out at that time. There's a song on there called Parasite. Really fucking good. I remember the one now. Rob Zombie. You're a fan of Rob Zombie, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me look up the name of this song because it's real weird. Rob Zombie.
Dude, Rob Zombie and
it's
Rob Zombie and Ozzy Osbourne. Ironhead. That's a fucking from the Scorpion King soundtrack. Yeah. That was a fucking banger.
So it was on a Hellbilly Deluxe. So Rob Zombie's like first big album that had Dracula and all that shit on there.
Oh yeah.
One of the final songs on that album is called "The Ballad of Resurrection Joe and Rosa Whore."
Oh yeah, I like that song.
That song just goes fucking hard.
Oh yeah, that whole album was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, and another one. Well, I know you're a Manson.
Yeah, speaking of Rob Zombie, Jesus Frankenstein's a fucking great song too.
I don't know if I've heard that one yet.
It's off of. Didn't he do a Hellbilly? He did a new Hellbilly.
He did like a Hellbilly Deluxe 2 or something.
Yeah,
it was
it's
like
on that, I'm pretty sure. But it's like, oh hell, Jesus Frankenstein. That song's. You should listen to that. That's up your fucking poop chute.
I love that Rob Zombie these days names his songs like Wabba Labba Doo Da Ziggity Da and shit. And he just doesn't give a fuck. And you have people like Manson that do songs like Arma Goddamn Motherfucking Geddon.
Yeah. It's Arma Goddamn Motherfucking Geddon.
So you actually probably know this song. Listeners, I don't know if you would.
If it's Manson, probably.
It's the first song on Hollywood.
Yep.
God Eat God.
Yep.
Dear God, do you want to tear knuckles down and hold yourself? Like, fuck, that song's so good.
Spoiler alert, Hollywood, I think, is going to come up in another question today.
Oh, yeah?
Because that's one of my all-time, like, top albums. Fucking love that album.
Manson, I listen to some Manson stuff sometimes. I have this thing with Manson and Nine Inch Nails where I'm listening to it, and I do not realize it's as old as it was. Like,
yeah.
I was listening to Nine Inch Nails one time, and I was like, man, when did this album come out? 89? What?
Yep.
So good. And then Manson, I'll look it up and be like, damn, this came out in 94? Fuck, he was ahead of his time.
Did you know Antichrist Superstar, Mechanical Animals, and Hollywood were a trilogy, but it was in reverse order?
No, I did not.
Yeah, look into that. It's a pretty interesting story about how he did that. But yeah, those were a trilogy of albums in reverse order.
Oh, well, hell yeah. That's what's up. Well, we covered a good chunk of pop music. I love music so much. I can talk about music all day.
I know Manson's like in some pretty shit water right now, like with all the Evan Rachel Wood stuff. And I mean, he did some shitty stuff to her. I still fucking love his music though. Like if he goes on tour and he's local, I'll probably go to the show. Like I just fucking love his music.
I really do my best to separate art from artist.
I try my best to do that.
Yeah, I really do try. Okay, so the next question. What fruit do you love but hate the artificial candy flavor of the same fruit? Example, Jeff loves watermelon. Jeff hates watermelon flavored candy. This question comes from Jeff.
Trying to think. Maybe banana. I don't know that I like banana flavored candy, but I love bananas.
Oranges.
I could do the opposite. Like I love like lime flavored stuff, but I don't eat limes. I love like grape flavor, but I don't necessarily like grapes. It's the skin.
Have you ever tasted those grapes that taste like cotton candy?
No.
Holy shit. Oh, if you don't like the texture of grapes, then it is your thing. But like, dude, these grapes, they just look like regular like white grapes, right?
Yeah.
You pop it in your mouth and you chew it up, and I swear to fucking God, Jeremy, it tastes like cotton candy.
Nice.
And it's the weirdest sensation in the world.
Nice. Ooh, I got one.
Oranges for sure for me.
It's not fruit though, so I don't know if it qualifies. I like cinnamon. Don't like cinnamon candy. Like I don't like Big Red. I don't like any of that shit.
I don't mind Big Red, but using cinnamon as a heat spice, I'll never understand.
No.
Like, what's that shit that people drink? Fireball.
Yeah.
You got to be fucking kidding me. Go fuck yourself. Yeah, I used to like Goldschlager, which is basically the same thing, but it's not as strong. Like, and it was like, ooh, it has gold flakes in it. Yeah. Cool. It's like, well, that's why we drank it, because it was cool. But
so it makes your puke festive.
It tastes awful. Like fucking hot, spicy cinnamon shit is just terrible.
No, thank you. But like brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts, fucking
A+. Buddy. And you stick them in the freezer. Listen, that's my contribution to this. He says frozen sweet rolls. I'm telling you, freeze your Pop-Tarts.
Now,
that's what's up.
Caveat: frozen or refrigerated, like chocolate Pop-Tarts or like brown sugar cinnamon. Yes, heat up your fruit Pop-Tarts.
No, like, even the fruit Pop-Tarts are good.
To me, cherry, strawberry, blueberry, all of that warm. Chocolate, fucking they used to make a Pop-Tart. They stopped fucking making it. It was like milk chocolate or something. It was a chocolate Pop-Tart with like fudge filling with white frosting. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They stopped making them. And it pisses me off because that was my favorite fucking Pop-Tart. Well, several years ago, they did like a retro series where they brought back a bunch of shit they had discontinued, and that was one of them. And I bought probably like 20 boxes. Like every time I saw them in the store, I just bought every fucking box they had because I was like, I'm going to just fucking stockpile these goddamn Pop-Tarts. But then I just eat them all because they're so good.
My mom gets on a kick where she likes something, she'll go and buy it a bunch of it. So she just has some.
Yep.
But no, dude. Even like, especially blueberry Pop-Tarts, frozen blueberry Pop-Tarts are tremendous.
See, I like them heated up. Cherry, especially.
They're good hot. They're good hot too.
I mean, Pop-Tarts are just good. I mean, it's just there's no two ways about that.
Yeah, because you can eat them room temperature and they're good too. So it's
there's a reason we're both fat. Pop-Tarts is part of that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Your favorite movie trilogy. Mine is How to Train Your Dragon, and that comes from Jeff.
So I want to go with the obvious of like Star Wars. The Dark Knight trilogy is fucking fantastic. What else? Jurassic Park, but like I don't know, the third movie wasn't great in that trilogy.
Can I consider Clerks, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and Clerks 2 a trilogy?
I'll allow it because I like those three movies.
Fuck yeah. Then that's one of my trilogies that I love.
I will even go as far as to say Dogma, Chasing Amy, and Mallrats.
Yeah, those are good too.
I would consider that a trilogy.
Lord of the Rings is great.
See, I prefer
the books.
I wasn't into Lord of the Rings.
I liked the books more. Like I feel like I have high hopes for this new Lord of the Rings show that they're doing because I'm hoping they'll be able to flesh it out more.
Maybe so.
You know, but we'll see. Movies. What movie trilogies have I seen? All three movies.
I'm Googling.
I hate to say that, but like
fucking the Planet of the Apes remakes. All three of those movies were fucking bangers. Like I fucking loved them.
I think I only saw the first one.
Fucking loved all three.
I'm not a massive movie person. I used to be back in the day. Like I loved the Power Ranger movies and I loved like Pokemon movies and stuff. But as I got older, I fell out of watching movies.
Matrix trilogy.
I'll say like the Cube trilogy with Cube and then Cube 2 Hypercube and then Cube 0. Those are wild. I like those a lot.
Yeah.
Especially Hypercube. Cube 2 Hypercube is the epitome of B-movie cheese. Just gloriousness. It's amazing.
The Hangover trilogy.
I saw 1 and 2. I don't know if I ever saw 3, but I'll give you that. And then like Jackass. But my favorite movie trilogy, man, that is fucking hard. Oh, okay, I got it. It's not a trilogy in the sense that it tells the same story, but it's going to be kind of like the Kevin Smith thing here. Beatles: A Hard Day's Night, Beatles: Help, and then Beatles: Yellow Submarine.
Nice.
Those are the 3 Beatles movies, and they're all wonderful.
I'm gonna also throw in.
But Jurassic Park's a good shout, by the way.
Yeah, the Mad Max trilogy was really good. But I'm gonna throw in the Simon Pegg and Nick Frost trilogy. What was it, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End.
I can get behind that. Those guys are funny.
And I will say, the 3 How to Train Your Dragons movies were really fucking good. Like, all 3 of those were really good, so I'll give Jeff that one.
Man, I always respected those movies. I never watched them, but like as many friends as I have that have kids and stuff,
yeah,
like I know enough to know that those are great movies.
Yeah. Now,
oh my God, Toy Story.
Oh yeah.
I guess there's 4 of those now, but like in my day there were 3.
Yeah. How you are with music, that's how I am with cinema. Like, I want to be a director. Like, I fucking love movies and TV shows. I analyze them when I watch them. Like, when people say, what's your favorite, blah, 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 I'm like, I can't pick I can name some favorites. I can't pick a favorite because it's always changing.
You direct the movie. I'll be in charge of your soundtrack and music placement. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And I'll give you ideas. I'm really good with coming up with like set ideas.
Yeah.
But making it happen is not my forte. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's like I can give you the keys to the kingdom, but you have to unlock the door. That sounded really, really egotistical. I didn't mean it to sound like that, but you know what I mean.
I feel like I would be a Quentin Tarantino in the fact that like some executive producer would come on set and be like, we really like what you're doing, Jeremy, but can we just change this one thing? And I'd be, get your motherfucking ass off my goddamn set. If you ever try to change my movie again, I'll burn your fucking house down. Like, just flip the fuck out on him. Because apparently Quentin Tarantino is a fucking loot. Like, they don't fuck with him. When it's his movie, they're like, talk to Quentin.
I've heard, oh shit, who was the other guy who's like, he wants his script read verbatim? It wasn't Scorsese. It was somebody else though, because I was watching about Italian like mob movies and stuff, and it was like one of those other guys wanted their shit read word for word. You couldn't change it. It might have been Coppola, but they were talking about how Scorsese would let people be like that iconic scene with Joe Pesci. That like, oh, you think I'm funny? Yeah. Oh, you think I'm funny? Like that was just an idea that Pesci had. Yep. Scorsese let him run with it, and now it's a fucking iconic scene.
Yep.
You know.
Apparently, that happened in Pretty Woman. So I don't know if you watched Pretty Woman. I'm assuming you did.
Was it the snap?
the snap of the thing? Like that was a Richard Gere improvisation, and like it caught Julia Roberts by surprise, and she like looks at the camera and just like bursts out laughing, and they were like, it was so fucking natural and good that they just left it in the final cut.
Yeah, and you can't. It's like what was it Midnight Cowboy? They're walking across the street, and Dustin Hoffman, like the car bumps into him, and he goes like, "I'm walking here, God damn it!"
Yep.
That was just somebody driving through the set. Like that wasn't supposed to happen, but they left it in because it was authentic. Sometimes shit like that happens.
I got two examples of that. You remember in Freddy Got Fingered when they buy him the LeBaron? He's like, "It says number one son. I don't see 2 LeBarons. Are there 2 LeBarons?" You remember he jumps in the car, goes.
I only see one LeBaron, Freddy.
He goes to drive off. And like there's somebody standing in the way, and he honks the horn. He's like, "Get the fuck out of the way!" Apparently, if you listen to the commentary track on the DVD, which I fucking love Tom Green, so I've watched that movie 1,000 times. He says that was just an extra who happened to be in the way. He's like, so when I went to leave, I just laid on the horn and was like, "Get the fuck out of the way!" And it fit with the flow of the movie, so they left it. The other one is, have you ever seen Being John Malkovich?
No, but I've heard of that.
That movie is fucking phenomenal. That movie is unlike anything else. But there's a scene where John Malkovich, he plays himself in the movie, of course. He's walking down the street with somebody and a truck comes by. They throw a fucking can at him, hit him in the back of the head. And I can't remember if it was he wasn't supposed to speak or if he wasn't supposed, like that wasn't supposed to happen. But like dude comes by, he says, "Fuck you, John Malkovich," and throws a can and hits him in the back of the head. And like the director loved it so much that they actually gave the guy a speaking credit in the movie and like paid him as a speaking extra to keep that part of the movie. So yeah, he just drives by like he's hanging out the window. And she's like, "Fuck you, John Malkovich," and throws a can and hits him in the back of the head with it. I can't remember if, like I said, the whole thing was just somebody drove by and took their shot, or if he was just supposed to throw the can and he was just like, I'm gonna take my time to shine, and like added some words to it. So, but hey, either way, he got his name at the end of a fucking movie.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Dude, like I said, I fucking love cinema. I will deep dive that shit a lot.
Hell yeah. Well, good, because I have some cinema-esque things planned for the Patreon, sir.
Good.
So the next question is from Jeff. Who's more sexy, Liz Vicious or Morrigan Hell? Now, I had to... We looked them up beforehand. Yeah. I knew who Liz Vicious was. I've known Liz Vicious for a long time. The other one I had to look up.
I'm going to lump the next question in with it, too, where Connor said, what about Rachel Rotten? So I'm going to say between the three.
All right, well, then let's make this interesting. Let's make this a fuck, marry, kill. Okay. Fuck, marry, kill. I'm going to fuck Rachel Rotten.
Yeah.
I'm going to marry Liz Vicious. I'm going to kill Morgan Hill.
My answer would be exactly the same. Because like I even told Dalton before the show, like if I had to rank them, it would be Liz, Rachel, Morgan. Morgan has like sure. Dalton said he didn't like the huge fake tits. I can see that. To me, like I saw pictures of her and she has those big cheekbones. I don't know if it's plastic surgery or what, but it's not super attractive to me. So I'm gonna put her on the bottom. And I mean, like, you got to remember, this is like rating pizza. Like, just because it's in last place doesn't mean it's not good pizza.
Yeah. But like, there's just something about Liz Vicious. I've always had a thing for her. Like, ever since like while I was back in the day when I discovered goth chicks. Oh, yeah. And like I realized that was the thing that I really liked, was like the whole goth look, the goth style. Oh, yeah. I started trying to look up goth porn stars, and one of the ones I found was Liz Vicious, and dude, she's been with me ever since.
I saw a meme the last couple of days of like an old school picture of Jennifer Tilly. It was like Jennifer Tilly walked so e-girls could run. And like, dude, she was like one of the original like goth girls. Man, she was gorgeous back then. I don't know what she looks like now. I'm sure she's still absolutely stunning. But man, she had it going on back then.
If someone could help me, I'm trying to remember. So like back in the day, my buddy, and he still owns it, he runs a porn store, and he used to give me posters. So I used to have posters up in my room of these porn posters that were like covers for promotional stuff. Oh, yeah. So like they never really showed anything, but it was just like promotional. And there was this girl, she had a singular name. Didn't have a last name. She had one name. Debbie. She looked like Debbie is my mom's name. You motherfucker did not.
You don't remember Debbie Does Dallas?
No, of course I remember Debbie Does Dallas.
You just don't. You just can't jerk off to her.
I just don't. No, it's not a thing I do. Her name, God, what was it? Stoya. I think it was Stoya. Stoya. She looked like Mila Jovovich.
Nice.
But pale. And oh, bro, like my favorite forever. And I think it was Stoya. Let me Google that real quick. Let me just make sure. No, I'll go over here. Stoya porn star. Yep. Stoya.
Dalton's going to take a 10-minute break to jerk off real quick.
No, I'm looking at her Wikipedia. I was going to try to send you, it's just you have a relative. It's just a face pic, but here you go. This is her.
Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, she's not bad.
I'm immediately going to go post this in the Steam Machine Discord and out of context.
So we discussed this while researching this topic. I told Dalton my 3 indicators for if a porn star is attractive or not. You look at a picture of her, you look at a picture of her naked, you look at a picture of her with something shoved up her butt. Those are your 3 indicators as to whether she's going to do it for you or not.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So let's see. Stoya. Hot. Stoya nude. Pretty fucking hot. Goddamn. The picture of her with like a 6-pack. And the final. Gaping buttholes.
Yep. Yeah, there you go. So, let's see who's next. Fenris. Oh, I want to give a shout out to Fenris because...
So, before we do that, shout out to, or fuck you to, I think I put it in the group. I think it's TeePublic had the fucking stickers for sale on their site that said, show me that butthole. Like, that is fucking Yabs Pod merch right there. Like, I'm kind of fucking butthurt about that. Like, that's some Yabs Pod merch right there.
What it is probably your phone heard you keep saying, show me that butthole. So T Republic just like made an ad. They're like, hey, you could come buy this here.
Yeah, you can buy this sticker that says, show me that butthole. What if, because T Public, I'm pretty sure, is one of those places where like artists go upload shit and you can buy their designs in stickers and t-shirts and mugs and whatever. What if someone who listens to this show is a T Public artist and was like, I'm gonna make a sticker that says show me that butthole? If that happened, please, for the love of God, let me know. I'm not even gonna be mad about it. I'm gonna be fucking stoked. Like, if Yabs Pod got somebody inspired to make a sticker, hell fucking yeah. If anybody who listens to this show makes custom stickers, will you make me a sticker that says show me that butthole? I will put it on my fucking water bottle that I carry to the gym.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Fenris because last week I brought up Troll Hunter.
Yeah.
The Norwegian film. And apparently Fenris has watched it and said that he agreed. It's amazing. And I'm like, no one ever says, hey, I've also seen that. So I was like, hell yeah. So shout out to Fenris for watching Troll Hunter because it's a great movie. So Fenris asks, what is your favorite musical genre? Do you want to break this down part by part?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, so what is your favorite musical genre?
So like I said, it's hard to say favorite because it's always changing, but I listen to a lot of like hip-hop, rap, I guess more specifically, like Eminem, DaBaby, Roddy Ricch, stuff like that. I listen to a lot of, I don't know the genre. It would be like that Ian McConnell song I put as a song of the week, like Ed Sheeran, James Arthur, that kind of stuff. I don't really know what that falls into. It's kind of almost like modern blues maybe, but
it's like folk music, man.
That's what somebody else I think told me. It's like modern folk music. But yeah, like that kind of stuff that's sad and
singer-songwriter.
Yeah. Then some rock, like for lack of a better term, and like Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins, Manson, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's, like I said, it's hard for me to nail down a specific genre because honestly, depends on how I wake up that morning. I might be listening to fucking 90s country music. I might be listening to grunge metal. I might be listening to Ed Sheeran. Like, I got some fucking Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift on my Spotify. Like, dude, it just depends on my mood for the day.
Let me just go ahead and scratch Jeremy off my friends list and said Justin Bieber's on his fucking playlist.
Dude, Justin Bieber has some fucking emotional ass shit that's pretty good. Like Lonely.
Cool.
Lonely's a fucking dope ass song.
Yeah, but he is a fucking tool. I try to separate artists from artists. I can't with Justin Bieber. Because that song he did, what was it, Despacito? Yeah. There was a video of him live singing that song, and he was like, I don't know the words, so Cheetos. And I ate some Fritos. And he was doing stuff like, I'm like, bro. And he was singing in front of people who spoke Spanish. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah, you can't do shit
bro,
like that.
That's kind of disrespectful.
Yeah.
But again, separate the art from artist. That's just not my thing. But I give him credit because he's obviously doing something right.
Yeah.
Right? It's just not for me. So,
like I said, he's got a couple of songs that I really, really like. Like Lonely is one. Like I said, that shit's just fucking depressing as shit, and you know that's right up my wheelhouse.
I'm surprised you don't listen to more Elliott Smith.
I probably would.
I was gonna say I'll send you some of his stuff because I think it's right up your alley.
Matter of fact, speaking of Elliott Smith, that was in fucking episode of Rick and Morty I watched before bed last night. The fucking Tiny Rick episode, where like they're trying to get Tiny Rick to basically Rick put his body in like a teenager's body to go help some shit at this high school, and then he didn't want to go back to being an old man. And like they're I
remember Tiny Rick.
They're fucking fighting with him, and fucking Summer is like, listen to Elliott Smith. Like shoves earbuds in his ears, and he starts like crying. He's like, why? How could someone so young be so talented?
Dude, have you ever heard about how he died? Have we ever talked about that?
No.
So Elliott Smith got into a fight with his girlfriend, and she stormed off into the other room and then heard a thud and heard him scream. And he stabbed himself in the heart with a chef's knife.
What the fuck?
Like he stabbed himself and it didn't work. I think he stabbed himself like 2 or 3 times before he finally hit his heart and it fucking killed him. I'm like, wow, you gotta really want to die.
Yeah.
Like, but if you listen to some of the songs,
wound yourself.
Yeah. Hold on. We got to do another lyric thing real quick.
Now, are we sure that's what happened, or did his girlfriend fucking Courtney love him?
That's what I've always said. Is like, you don't really know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you some of the lyrics from. So he's got a song called "Needle in the Hay," right?
Yeah.
And the lyrics are: your hand on his arm, the haystack charm around your neck, strung out and thin, calling some friend, trying to cash some checks. He's acting dumb, but that's what you have come to expect. Needle in the hay, needle in the hay. And he's wearing your clothes, head down to toes, a reaction to you. You say you know what he did, but you idiot kid, you don't have a clue. Sometimes they just get caught in the eye you're pulling him through. Now on the bus, nearly touching this dirty retreat, falling out 6th and Powell, a dead sweat in my teeth. Gonna walk, 4 more blocks plus the one in my brain. Go down the stairs, down to the man. He's gonna make it all okay. I can't be myself, and I don't want to talk, so I'm taking the cure so I can be quiet whenever I want. So leave me alone. You ought to be proud that I'm getting good marks. Now, that song is about his heroin addiction. And he's talking about going to get heroin and getting good marks is that he would shoot up where you couldn't see it visibly. Yeah. So he was getting good marks. I'm like, bro, it is a fucking harrowing song. But it's that same kind of singer-songwriter, depressing dude in an acoustic. Like, it's so good though.
Oh yeah.
So I totally understand where you're coming from.
So your favorite genre, butt rock?
No. So if you take metal, like anything that ends with metal, so like blank metal, I probably really like it, right? So I'm just going to say metal. Yeah. If you take anything and put wave at the end of it, I'm probably going to like it. Synth wave, cold wave, trance wave, house wave, goth wave, retro wave. Like, I love that style of music too. So I'm going to go with anything with wave at the end and anything with metal at the end are my favorite genres. But I will always have a spot in my heart for anything goth. Yeah. So goth music, all right. So do you have a favorite album?
So that's what I talked about earlier. So Hollywood would be up there near the top. Eminem's first 2 albums, especially the first one, the Slim Shady LP. Dookie by Green Day is one. That was one of the first CDs I ever got. The other first CD I got was Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. That whole album's fucking great. What else?
I like to shout, and then I shout again. You bet I'm always gonna keep shouting. I'm gonna get shout, and I shout again. Yeah, we're always gonna be shouting. Yeah.
I don't know. Can't think of any more off the top of my head. Getting late.
So favorite, I don't have a favorite album. I have favorite albums.
Yeah.
Queen of the Damn soundtrack. World Coming Down by Typo Negative. The End of All Things to Come by Mudvayne. New Flesh by Priest. Eurotrash by Zeromancer. I really, really liked growing up, and this is a greatest hits album, so it doesn't really count, but I had The Essential Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, the
Lest We Forget.
Lest We Forget. Yeah, that album is fucking amazing.
Fire.
That was such a good selection of Manson songs.
Yeah. For I played that CD till it didn't work anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Static X Start a War is one of my favorite albums of all time. I'm trying to think. Catatonia, The Great Cold Distance, and Night is the New Day. Both are fantastic fucking albums from beginning to end. Devin Townsend's Ziltoid the Omniscient is a concept album that is just fucking fantastic. Anything by Mechana. So I can't say that they're I can say that I have a favorite album by them because all of their albums tell one long, big, epic space war story.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, like a favorite album by them, it would probably be the Synthesia Signal.
I do have one more I can think of. And you're gonna fucking laugh about this one. Divide by Ed Sheeran. That whole album, fucking amazing.
I respect Ed Sheeran. I'm not gonna laugh at you for that.
Like, Ed Sheeran's a fucking amazingly talented musician. I will throw in
no qualms.
This Unruly Mess We've Made by Macklemore is a fucking great album too. Go back to the deep cuts. what's it called? I think it's Neon Church by Macklemore. It's about like alcoholism. Man, that song just fucking gets me.
I could think of if we're talking rap,
Neon Cathedral by Macklemore.
It's a cool title for a song.
Oh yeah. Basically, he's saying like the bar is his neon cathedral. Like instead of going and getting help for his alcoholism, he's just going to go to the bar and drink more. It's a depressing song, but it's fucking good.
If we're going to go rap, then I'm going to say probably my favorite rap album is White Jesus by Ritz.
Pretty good one.
There's a couple songs on that album, man. That song High Five, when that motherfucker comes in and he says, Bala messer, I be at a party cutting lines on a dresser. Get a bitch high on undresser. Have her in the bed screaming OMG like she messes when I text her. Yes, sir. He says, ain't nobody fresher. I'm the next big thing. Homie got me tripping around the neck. Be swing. Anybody want to try to test me? Ding ding, swinging on him like I'm in a wrestling ring. And he goes, kill a motherfucker like I'm Chris Benoit. You don't really want to fuck a Ritz then, boy. And I remember the first time I heard that, I went, Jesus Christ, did he really just say that?
Dude,
and he says, blowing up the kiss to the bitches, mwah, screaming, oh Lord, like a Christian choir. And I'm finally on fire. And if you only knew how much time has gone by, I got chronic in my styrofoam pie. I'm popping X pills and I'm rolling like a Firestone tire. Can I get a high five? Except he raps it. I just rapped it at a speed y'all can understand it. That really comes out like, kill a motherfucker like I'm Chris Benoit. You don't really want to fuck a wrist in bar. Blowing up the kiss to the bitches, man. Let me scream, oh Lord, like a Christian choir. And I'm finally on fire. And if you only knew how much time has gone by, I got chronic in my styrofoam pie. Better popping X pills like I'm rolling like a Firestone tire. Can I get a high five? Like he raps fast as fuck.
I got another album to add. Camp by Childish Gambino. I fucking love Childish Gambino. The entire album of Camp is fucking fantastic. But you made me think
Isn't
of
that
it.
Donald Glover?
Yeah.
I thought so. Okay.
You made me think of it when you were talking about fucked up lines and songs, because one of the songs on that album, he literally has a line that says, made a beat and murdered it, Casey Anthony. And I was like, oh shit, I can't believe he actually said that.
I wrote a rap song one time, and my final line was like, I'm staring at your girl. I see she heard of me, so I played her pussy like a flute. Ron Burgundy.
All right.
I miss rapping. And then you're a favorite artist.
Favorite artist. I'm going to just say two, Manson and Eminem. They're two that I will listen to anything they put out.
I'm going to throw you a top 5 in no particular order. Typo Negative, Mechana, Zeromancer,
Celine Dion, Hanson,
Catatonia, and Devin Townsend.
Yeah, like I said, those two, Manson and Eminem, are two that whatever they put out, I will listen to. I may not like it all. Like Eminem does some shit features and stuff that I'm kind of like, it's all right. But I will listen to anything that I see those two put out.
Yeah. Mechana is one of the only bands that and Priest, but I didn't count them. But like Mechana, when I see they've released a new album, I immediately go to Bandcamp and go buy it.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like it's good shit. So I know how you feel. All right, let's see. Best crafting system in a game. This is from Adam. These next couple questions are from Adam. So best crafting system in a game.
It was mentioned in the Discord, but I have to agree with it. Fallout 4 had a pretty awesome crafting system. I kind of like the cooking system in Breath of the Wild was pretty interesting. I don't play a ton of games where you have to craft stuff, so I don't have a wealth of knowledge on the subject.
Bro, me and you have had a conversation about a game that you've told me that you really fucking like that has a lot to do with crafting, and I'm surprised you haven't mentioned it yet.
Well, I mean, it is damn near midnight, so let's see. Let me see if I can figure it out. No, my brain's dead.
How many days would it take you to die?
Oh, yeah. 7 Days to Die has a pretty awesome crafting system.
Yeah.
But I
agree.
I haven't played that game a lot in a while, so. But I did for a while there. I found out you can turn the zombies off and just make it a crafting game. And so, yeah, I just fucking was building, like going finding materials and shit and just building shit.
I had it, like when the last time I played, I had it set where there were like very, very few zombies. So I'd see one every now and then. Yeah. And it was funny just be running down the road and there's just like one zombie and I wouldn't even fuck with him because it was just him. And I'd be like, hey, Steve.
Yep. He's a grr. Shout out to Minecraft too, because my kid played a lot of Minecraft and I played it with him and it's pretty fun to actually play through that game.
I'm going to go Ark Survival Evolved. Had great crafting in it.
Yeah.
And also, Dragon Quest Builders is a blast.
I've wanted to try that, but I haven't tried it.
It's fun, man. If you like Dragon Quest and you like the the quirkiness of that series, it's something to get into. Let's see, where was I at? Okay, so he wants to know, your next question is your favorite type of combat in games.
Turn-based. For me, I'm going to go with like the shit like Yakuza 0, the Arkham series, Spider-Man, that sort of just like...
Beat 'em up. Like a modern beat 'em up.
Like, I mean, I don't want to say beat 'em up because it's not really that, but it's the... Almost like Eric says on Factory Seals, just press square simulator. I just want to go in and like beat the ever-loving shit out of people, That and something I really enjoy, but it's changed a bit since the original game, was how you could cheese parries in the first Assassin's Creed game. It's like I would get surrounded by people, but they would only attack one at a time. So you could just hold the parry button, and as soon as they attacked you, you would just parry and kill them. Like, I really like that. It was cheap, like kind of cheesing the system, but it was fucking cool.
Nate messaged me the other day, and he was like, man, I'm looking at this Spider-Man game, and I might get this. He's like, it looks so good. And I said, bro, as much as you like Batman, you would fucking love Spider-Man.
The one thing, Nate, I will say about Spider-Man versus Batman, you can get through Batman just beating the shit out of people. In Spider-Man, you have to learn how to dodge and parry and shit, because if you don't, when you get up to like the Silver Sable soldiers and shit, they will fucking body you. Like, you've got to learn. And do something about Spider-Man I loved. I'm not usually into stealth, but doing the stealth shit in Spider-Man where you can like hang people from light posts and shit and nobody notices. And you can do it in Arkham too. Like you can go up on the gargoyles and shit in the buildings and like you can use the little bat vision thing. There's something similar in Spider-Man. It tells you whether like it's safe to attack them or not. Like nobody will see if you attack them. And you can like use the fucking grappling gun, like pull them up in the ceiling, knock them out, hang them from something. Like you can do that in Spider-Man too. It's so fucking satisfying.
Yeah, Spider-Man is such a good game. I'm probably gonna end up getting it, be it one way or another.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, my favorite combat game. I have a spot for turn-based, man. I have a soft spot for turn-based games.
So the only turn-based I ever really enjoyed was Pokemon. Like I've never really found another turn-based game where I was super, super into it other than Pokemon.
That's fair. You might like Dragon Quest 11.
Maybe.
Because it's a little more classic than like the Final Fantasy games, but I think you would probably prefer the more action-based Final Fantasy games.
I will say, shout out to Tom. His game Ever in Time. I do like the turn-based in that. That was the combat, and that's pretty good, Tom. Yeah, I played about 20 or 30 minutes of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing that. It was pretty good what I played of it.
Yeah, man, I heard it's got a really cool final boss theme.
Yeah, I heard the dude that wrote it's a dick though.
He is, man. He's a fucking asshole. And then Adam's final question for this group is, what is your favorite sports game?
So I don't know if it counts, but F1.
Racing doesn't count.
Yeah, I'll say F1 ultimately. Other than that, are we talking like genre or specific game? Because if I'm going genre, it would be either the EA, the Madden series or the NHL series. Both of those are really fun. As far as specific sports game, I would have to go with Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii, because that game was fucking phenomenal. Like, it was Wii motion controls, like Wii Sports, but it was all Mario characters playing baseball, and it was a fucking good time.
Oh, yeah. So, like, your actual one would be F1. My actual one is Skate 3.
Yeah.
But going traditional sports games, I have to agree, Madden and NHL are both fan-fucking-tastic. Yeah. Even the NBA games are fun, though
2K is fun, but what
they
kills
put commercials in the game.
Well, no, what kills me with 2K, and it started when I got back into 2K, which was like 2K18, they really leaned on the VC system, which is their in-game currency, to where either you can spend about $20 to $40 and make your character pretty good, or you can play you can grind for like 3 seasons to make your character around the same level. Remember, an NBA season is 82 games. So you're talking about probably 250 games to get your player up to like a pretty good level. Or you can spend like $20 on VC and get there in the first season.
The WWE games have that shit too, but it's about these card packs that you get, and then you can wrestle with the cards that you have.
Yeah. I mean, I
think Madden does
that's
that
like the EA's Ultimate Team shit that they do, which, by the way, they make like billions of dollars a year off of that Ultimate Team bullshit. So, I mean, it's not going anywhere.
But, there are people who get new consoles specifically to play those games. Oh, yeah. That's it.
There's people that, like, my brother has an Xbox One S. All I think he plays is Madden, whatever, like MLB The Show, and I think he has like a dirt track racing game. And that's all he cares to play on it, because that's all he gives a shit about. And like you said, there's some people that will just play Madden. Every year they'll buy Madden, they'll play it till the next one comes out. So I mean, if that's what you're into, by all means, fucking enjoy it. Like, I like Madden. I buy Madden like maybe every 5 or 6 years, because I feel like that's enough time to make enough fundamental changes to make it almost a different game. So basically, like maybe one a console generation I'll buy.
If I had to choose a specific sports game, though, nostalgia wise, it would be like NFL. Not NFL. Blitz the League.
Yeah, Blitz the League was fantastic. Great. You could bet on games and shit. Like that game was.
Give your character steroids.
People give it shit, but that game, I like that game. That's when they had lost the NFL license. Yeah. So they were just making up teams and shit.
Because back in the day, like on PlayStation, I didn't fucking play Madden. I played NFL Blitz.
Oh, yeah. I remember you could fucking awesome. Like German suplex you could German suplex receivers while the ball was in the air. Motherfuckers on the other team never made a pass because I'd fucking suplex the shit out of that guy.
Yes, sir. But also when I was in New York visiting Ryan, we spent countless hours just baked playing this NHL 2K20 or 21 that he had.
Oh yeah.
And we created a guy that was just like solely the fucking goon.
Oh, nice.
So every time he handed, like when he was playing, he would play offense, I would play defense, because he'd play offense and actually score and get like shots and stuff, and I would play and just cream people.
Nice.
And get into fights and get put in the penalty box and sometimes get us kicked out of the game. Like, but it was a fucking blast, man. It was so much fun. Kana, bands that you like that can be considered butt rock. I don't know what butt rock is.
I don't really know what butt rock is either.
I like one or two songs by Five Finger Death Punch. Are they butt rock?
We'll go with that.
Okay. Like, they have like one song on their first album, and it was like the last song on that album. No, it was their second album. Anyway, it's like one or two songs that are really good, but the rest of, like, when they got super into the military shit, it just they lost me.
Like Baby Buck Cherry. Like Buck Cherry has a couple of good songs, but I don't know.
Hey, yo, crazy bitch, but you fuck so good, I'm on top of it. I remember that band. Okay, let's see.
Sorry, Kana, we don't know what butt rock is.
So there's another one from Kana. Can't remember if they've ever asked this before. But for Dalton, what would you consider your musical influences? Basically see any band that I've mentioned in this episode, but specifically for guitar, Devin Townsend, Zakk Wylde, Jeff Loomis, and Andy James. For electronic type stuff, Priest and like Depeche Mode, Information Society, bands like that. In honor of arcades, what was your favorite arcade growing up, and what was your favorite game? From Jeff.
So my arcade growing up that I went to was probably be Adventure Island, which is where I worked my first job. Hear about that on the Extra BS episode. That was like where you went in the town I grew up. So like I spent a lot of time there. As far as my favorite arcade, I'm gonna do like we did the other week and break it down to like redemption and actual arcade games. For redemption games, I loved coin pushers, shit like that. There was this one game I loved. I think I may have talked about it already on the show, where it was like you put one coin in and it had like a track it ran down, and the track swept side to side, and there were 4 little dump trucks in there. And basically, if you got a coin, you had to like time your coin to where it would land. If you got your coin in the back of the dump truck, you got like 25 tickets. But there was a little flag on the side of the dump truck. If you hit that flag, it would dump the dump truck, and you got like X amount of tickets for every coin that was in the dump truck that got dumped. I got really fucking good at that game and would win a shitload of tickets off of it.
Oh yeah.
So that'd probably be my favorite. Do have a redemption story. There's a place in Raleigh, North Carolina called Adventure Landing. Completely different place from Adventure Island.
We had an Adventure Landing here in Jacksonville.
So I went in there. I was an adult. I want to say I might have been married, or me and my ex-wife were dating at the time. They had this machine. It was a round machine, and it had 4 sides on the top where you put a coin in. It was a coin dropper, but there was a carousel in it of little cups with like kind of like an icy cup where like it's a dome with a little hole at the top. And basically, like, you had like 10 tickets where the hole was bigger and 25 where it was smaller. Then you had a jackpot where the hole was like just big enough for the coin to go through. Well, me being the physics and scientist type of person I am, sat there and I figured it. I was like, okay, if I drop the coin above the 10, by the time it falls in. So I figured out the exact spot to hit the jackpot. And I probably hit like 13 jackpots in a row, ran the motherfucker out of tickets. I had the guy come over and fill it back up with more tickets. I think I ran that one out too. Like I won a shitload of tickets. So I was just jackpot after jackpot. So we went back like 2 or 3 weeks later, and apparently that pissed them off, because when we went back, there was a fucking stutter in the carousel. So it wasn't free moving anymore. It would like stop every now and then for just like a quarter of a second. So you couldn't like time out the fucking jackpots anymore. So like I'm pretty sure I fucked anybody playing that game after me by just sitting there figuring out the fucking timing of it and just dumping jackpots. Asshole. Yeah. So I won a shitload of tickets, but yeah, anybody after me, they fuck them. Far as an actual arcade machine, probably the Simpsons arcade I always loved to play, or the NFL Blitz machines. I played the shit out of those.
So I never really fucked with the redemption games. I have played them, but I wouldn't be able to say that I have a favorite.
Oh, I was getting something for my money. I wasn't just paying for entertainment. I was going to take something home with me.
So we used to have this place in Orange Park that was attached to the mall called the Aladdin's Castle.
Yeah, Aladdin's Castle.
It was badass, dude. It was all neon and shit in there with the 90s carpet, the 90s arcade carpet. Everybody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. And, man, so many games. I can't really pick one favorite, dude. I loved the Jurassic Park one. I loved was it Time Crisis?
Yeah, Time Crisis, the shooting. Yeah.
Yeah. House of the Dead was fantastic. Dead was
fucking amazing. We had at Adventure Island, we had a sit-down House of the Dead where it had like the big dome thing with the bench, and it had the curtains, so you like got inside it and closed it off.
That's how our Jurassic Park ride was.
We had a House of the Dead like that. It was
badass.
Fucking dope.
I loved the Tekken 3.
Yep.
Is the one that sticks out to me in my brain. Mortal Kombat 4 was fantastic. In later years, Guitar Hero was fun.
Yeah.
The racing games, dude, I just miss fucking arcades. Like,
me too.
I need to have like $50 worth of quarters just to go to an arcade and just play whatever
Yakuza 0 and now playing Judgment with the fucking Club Sega arcades. Like, man, it's making me fucking pine.
I hope that those live on in those games, because those are not a thing anymore in Japan.
Yeah.
Like they were starting to close them.
Have closed, yeah.
Which is sad, man, because Sega, man, that's like a piece of history.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I was playing Judgment last night, and I went in a Sega arcade I hadn't gone into yet. I forget the name of it, but they had the fucking motorcycle arcade game in there, where it actually had the like motorcycle you sat on, and you like rev the. Like, I was like, oh man, I'm about to play this later. Like I was doing some mission, but I was like, I gotta come back and play this shit.
Was it like Super Hang On or something like?
It was.
Or was it one of the newer ones?
It was something newer. It was like a Road Rash kind of game. It seemed like, but I can't remember the name of it. But it looked really fucking cool. I used to play the shit out of those as a kid. Get on that fucking motorcycle and be leaning the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah. I feel like I'm going to break it with my fat ass.
Yep.
Here's one from Brian.
Brian.
What is your go-to build in any RPG game, and why is it your go-to?
So I don't play a lot of RPGs, but usually when I do, I usually go for the big, strong brute. Like, I love just being able to fucking Duke Nukem shit, just run in, guns blazing or fist swinging, and just beat the ever-loving shit out of whatever's in my way. As far as why, it's probably because that's always what I've wanted to be in real life. Like, I don't think I'm that tough, but like, I would love to be that. Like, in fucking, like, I'd love to be like Kiryu. I'd love to just be fucking devil make hair and just beat the shit out of anybody who has any say.
See, I'm so much more a Majima type, like, where like you would be all this big badass and I would just walk up to you and be like, Kiryu-chan! Well, you haven't seen a ton of that Majima yet, which we haven't either, but you get to see it at the end.
Yeah, you get to see it at the end. Dude, I think I texted you about it, but you never said anything. Was it just me, or was Majima at the end of Yakuza 0 giving off some major fucking Marilyn Manson vibes?
I could see
like
that.
He looked really fucking pale. He had a goofy ass haircut and the fucking weird ass clothes, and I was like, man, he's giving me major fucking like 90s Manson vibes.
I could see that, like a Japanese Manson.
Yeah.
Like he's going to be like a member of Deer and Grey. My go-to build in any RPG game, I usually go sword and board because I do not trust NPCs to tank.
True.
Now, in a game like Skyrim or something where you can switch between two different sets, I'll go sword and board with a bow as the backup.
Yeah.
So I can hit them at a distance, and once they close in, I can pull in the shield and sword and get my defenses out, right? I do the same thing in Dark Souls. I play with sword and shield because I want to be able to block.
Now, I will say, I like the big brute, super strong. That being said, in games like, I don't play Dark Souls, but games like Dark Souls, I do not like broadswords or like two-handed weapons. I like faster weapons. It's like if I'm using a sword, it's going to be like, I don't know the name for like a standard sword, but like it's going to be like a one-handed sword. It's not going to be a big-ass fucking slow weapon.
You're going to use a short sword compared to a bastard sword.
Yeah.
I get you. So here's another one from Kana. Do you prefer theater of the mind or miniatures when it comes to pen and paper RPG?
So yet again, I've never played any pen and paper RPGs. I would, but I've just never been in a group of people to experience that. That being said, I feel like miniatures would be cooler, but I'm absolutely terrible at like painting small shit. I can't paint a fucking wall. So like trying to paint a miniature is not going to happen. But if somebody like painted them for me and shit, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Word up. I've never played with miniatures, but I am very much a theater of the mind kind of person.
So I'm assuming that means you just use your imagination.
Yeah. You describe things. You're not really looking at it. It's just, it's all about description and what your imagination takes with it.
And I feel like as a writer, I would probably get more into that, like setting the scene. But I think seeing the miniatures would be cool too. So I don't know. I'd have to try and see which one I liked more.
But like in general chat the other day when you shared that picture of a barbarian.
Yeah.
Which was funny because that ended up being a picture that was actually in the collage of things that I was looking through.
Yeah.
But I started posting my favorites of the portraits that I have that are just fantasy portraits. And I'm like, each one of these that I send, I really want to base a character off these. Like, because it's just like seeing them and being like, okay, work from there. Now I'll create the story and all of that behind there. So I can understand the appeal of miniatures because in a way that's probably the same thing. You know what I mean? So, if you were banished to an island for the rest of your life, what are the 5 items that you would bring?
Oh,
I knew eventually we would get a question.
And she qualified that no electronics.
Bitch. Okay. That's from Christina.
Yes. So I'm trying to think. Let's see. Probably a flare gun with a bunch of flares. Because, they always see like those movies, you see the plane going by and they're just like waving their arms going, help, help. No, I want like a... My luck, I would shoot the flare. It would be like a single engine Cessna or something. And the flare would like go into the engine and crash the plane.
Now there's 2 of you, but you're mad at each other, so you stay on opposite sides of the island. It's a new sitcom coming to Fox.
And their plane crash lit the island on fire. So you have to figure out a way to not burn up. Maybe a fishing rod. and a lighter to light campfires. So that's 3. Probably a big ass knife. I feel like that would come in handy. And what else? What's the 5th thing I'd want to bring? Maybe a stack of books. Something to entertain myself since I can't have electronics.
That's fair. If we're going strictly survival.
I think Dalton froze. There we go.
Am I here? Okay.
Yes, you're here. You were just sort of like, it was a fucking weird face you were making too.
You went pixely for a second, so I was like, uh-oh. We're almost done with the questions though, so that but if we're going strictly survival, I'm going machete, hatchet, fishing rod, cast iron skillet, and some sort of a way like flint and something to light fire with. Yeah, because a lighter is going to run out eventually.
Yeah.
At least flint and steel, like if you got a big enough piece of flint, you'd be all right for a while. Now, if we're going not all just survival, then I'll drop one of the bladed things and bring a guitar.
Yeah.
But then you got to be like, well, if eventually those strings are going to be dead as fuck, you're not going to be able to do anything with it. Eventually, it's going to be firewood.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, same thing with my books. Eventually, you'll read them all enough that you're going to be bored as fuck with them.
That's true, but then you can start finding random things on the island to roll into pages and smoke to see what happens.
True.
You might find something real fun.
Got to bring a volleyball with you. Well said.
So next question is from Fenris. If you like hot sauce, do you like hot sauce? I think we've had this conversation.
Not particularly.
Okay. Well, what would be your favorite hot sauce if you had to pick?
So I don't eat a lot of hot sauce. It's not that I don't like hot sauce. I don't eat a lot of stuff that you would put hot sauce on. But I do eat Taco Bell, and I always get their fire sauce packs. Put that on the tacos. So yeah, I'm going to say Taco Bell fire sauce.
Hey, and you can get bottles of that at the store now too. So I mean, nice. that counts. That counts.
Nice. They used to have one even worse. It was in a black pack. I forget what it was.
Oh, bro, Diablo,
yeah.
It's delicious.
And yeah, that I used to get that, but they don't have that around here anymore. But yeah, that
here either.
That you could like get on the taco and like I'll get like 4 or 5 soft shell tacos. And about like the first 2 or 3 with the Diablo sauce, you don't really feel it. But you get to like that 4th one, and that's when it starts kind of like ramping up on you a little bit. So
I used to take the Diablo and mix it with the Verde.
Oh yeah,
and put it on there. It was delicious. If I had to pick a favorite, so I got this stuff. There's a hot sauce store in St. Augustine that I need to go back to. They have levels from 1 to 10, right?
Oh yeah.
So your 1 is like your like Cholula and things like that. Which if I was gonna pick just a sauce strictly based on flavor and not heat, I'm going Cholula. It's just it's good on tacos and stuff. It's just delicious. I also love Tabasco sauce. Tabasco on a cracker, like on a Ritz cracker with some cheddar cheese on it. That's all you need. It's delicious. But they had this sauce that I got that I really enjoyed. It was an 8 on their scale, and it was called Gator Death Roll.
Nice.
And it came in this bottle with a keychain with a gator hand.
Nice.
Like a gator paw on it.
Like a legit gator paw or a fake gator paw?
It's probably fake.
Okay.
But I don't know. It might be legit. One of the fingers broke off of it. But it was a really good, it was tasty, but it was also hot.
Yeah.
And like, there's this really hard thing, like when you start getting into super hot sauces, where it's like Da Bomb, for instance. Da Bomb is stupid hot and it tastes like chemicals. It's awful.
Yeah.
Flavor matters. Like when you're getting up to the point where it's more spice than flavor, you're missing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be a mesh of the two, in my opinion.
If you're gonna blow your butthole out, you want to at least have some flavor before.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell my ghost pepper story on the show?
I'm not sure.
So it seems pertinent to this topic, so I'll throw it out there if I haven't. So I went on this date. I dated this girl named Christina for a little while. Not the Christina listened to the show. Different, much crazier Christina. We went out to, I want to say it was Chili's, but it might have been Applebee's. I always get those two confused. They're basically the same place.
Love TGI Fridays in there too.
Yeah. So I got the club sandwich, which is my go-to. She got wings, and she told the guy, she's like, I want the hottest sauce you have. And so he brings her out the sauce, and she's like, okay. She starts eating it, and she's like, it's not very hot. I think Dalton's shaking his head like I've told this story before. So,
you've at least told it to me. I don't know if you've told it on air.
So she's like, this sausage is not very hot. And I was like, really? So the guy comes, he's like, how is everything? She's like, did you bring me the hot sauce? And he's like, yeah. She's like, well, it's not very hot. And he's like, well, let me check. And he's like, came back with like some kind of peppers or something like to add to it. He's like, yeah, they said it's the hottest one, but I brought some extra like peppers or whatever. Next day, she's like, it's still not very hot. It's like the waiter comes out. He's like, how's it now? She's like, oh, it's still not very hot. He like, I'm not lying, dude, like a fucking drug dealer, like looks around like, is anybody watching? He's like, well, I got some stuff in my car if you're interested. She's like, what? He's like, I got some dried ghost pepper flakes in my car. She's like, sure, I'll try it. And he's like all fucking giddy and shit. He fucking goes to his car, right? Comes back with a fucking weed bag full of fucking pepper flakes. Dumps them in one of those ramekins, the little like bowls they give you at the restaurant with sauces and stuff. So she takes it and dumps it in the hot whatever dipping sauce, mixes it up, and I don't eat dipping sauce or barbecue sauce or whatever the fuck it was. So I'm like, me being the dumb fucking asshole I am, there's powder remnants in the bottom of the ramekin. So I fucking lick my pinky finger, get it nice and wet, dip it in there and get some of that powder and shit, and stuck it right to the middle of my fucking tongue. Dalton, I swear to God, it's like you took a lit match and put it out on your fucking tongue. Like, it was so goddamn hot. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, I had Sprite, so I just start chugging that shit. Empty the cup, and I'm like, dude, more. Just keep them coming. So she mixed it in her sauce, right? Well, you know, when you mix that shit in sauce, it takes a little while. So she's sitting there like, I'm talking sticking chicken wings in it, like fucking, it's dripping off the chicken wing, eating it. She's like, it's not really that hot. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, my fucking tongue was done. And I'm talking about this was like holding a lit match to your tongue that won't go out for like a good 10 minutes. So she's eating her chicken wings, and all of a sudden, I see it on her face when it fucking hits her. It's like, the best way I could describe her face is if somebody stuck something up your asshole without you realizing it was about to happen. That's the only way I can describe her face when that fucking shit hit her. And she's just like, like, and she's like, oh my God. Like, she fucking starts chugging. I think she had a beer or something. She starts chugging that. She's like, not going to help either. We need more water. We need this. Like, the fucking waiter's laughing his ass off. He knows what he fucking did. Like, we're over there fucking just suffering, dude.
I am that guy.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, I'm buying some fucking ghost pepper. I'm taking it to work and I'm giving it to people. I'm gonna be like, try this. I'll give you $10.
When me and my dad were at Chelsea Market, and I've told this before on the show, so I'll briefly run through it. When we got we were in the place where they had the different artisanal oils and salts. One of the things was ghost pepper salt. So I put a fucking pile of it in my hand, and me and my dad each took a pinch and put it on our tongues. And yeah, dude, it's like somebody just like decided to just snip your tongue in half.
Yep.
And because we put it on like the tip, and we got a good pinch. You know what I mean? This was like a fucking pinch of salt. And we got some beers. Beers didn't help, but I'm that guy because like when I go back to that shop, like I told you, I want to get a 10. Yep. I want to get a bottle of it's a 10, right? Yep. And I'm going to try it. In fact, I might even record myself trying it, and I'll put it up on the Patreon or something. Or I'm going to put that just in Discord for everybody to enjoy. Maybe upload it as a private video on YouTube so only our people can see it. But I want to get and try it, and I want to give it to people because, and be like, hey, you want to try a hot sauce? Because my buddy Lenny, I've talked about Lenny before on the shows. Leo, he's from Yonkers, New York. So he's got a real thick fucking New York accent, you know what I'm saying? And I had that Gator Death Roll. That was the 8. Oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, you know, I like spicy food. Yeah, man, I fucking love spicy food. Word, you want to try this hot sauce I got? Yeah, fuck yeah, man, I'll try it. I dipped a toothpick in it, and I handed him the toothpick. He's like, that's it? And I went, yeah, that's it. And he takes the toothpick and he sucks it off, and he tosses it down, and he's sitting there, and he's like, yeah, it's not so bad. About a minute goes by. His leg starts shaking a little bit. Bounce it up and down. Another minute goes by. Yo, Dalton, you mind if I grab one of those Diet Colas? Nah, man, go for it. It ain't gonna help.
You don't want some milk or something there, some bacon.
He starts drinking that. Fucking sweat's coming down his brow now. And I was like, yeah, not so bad, huh? Yeah. Not so bad, huh? It's like, see, I don't mind when people are like not trying to be tough about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I respect the people who act tough about it and then are tough about it. But when you try to act tough and then you are humbled by the sauce,
yep.
I get pleasure in that. I don't know why. Anyways, last question. And I'm going to read this verbatim in the way that I think. I know you told me she doesn't talk like this, but she asks questions like this, so I'm going to read it like this. If you could be in the world of any anime or video game, like what would it be? She would probably kick my ass if she was like her. I don't. Ostara, I think you have a wonderful, awesome name. I don't know what you sound like, but you type like one of those kinds of girls.
She's small, but she's feisty, so she'd probably kick your ass.
If she could reach it.
So we did video games on one episode. I know we both said like Animal Crossing, and I think you said Dragon Quest or something. So I'm curious, what anime would you want to be in? You could pick an anime world.
Food Wars was really cool.
I could see that.
I've been watching this anime called Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense.
Yeah.
And let me go ahead and recommend this to people if you haven't seen this show. It is freaking hilarious. But it's another isekai. It's like the like Sword Art Online, where they get sucked into a video game or they're playing a video game type thing. But I really like that. Dragon Ball would be cool, except the always looming threat of the annihilation of existence.
I'll say Dragon Ball I couldn't do because like there's always aliens coming to just destroy that. But it takes them a long fucking time to get there. So
that's true.
I'm gonna
go Food Wars.
I'm gonna say Death Note, because either I'm gonna have a Death Note and that's gonna be fucking awesome, or you just live in regular Japan. So either way, that'd be pretty cool.
That's like, what show do you want to be in? Squid Game?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm either gonna win a bunch of money or die.
Yeah.
No, man, what the fuck?
No, I was gonna say either I have a Death Note and I get to kill a bunch of people I don't like, or I'm just some regular ass dude living in Japan. Like, as long as I don't break the law, I'm fine. What was the other one I just said? You fucked me up.
I don't remember, bro. You said Death Note.
I had another one, and you fucked me up. I can't remember what it was.
Mr. Derailer.
Yeah. Just sent my ass right off course. Fuck, what was it? I know everybody listening is like, it was this, you fucking idiot. My brain don't work.
We had this moment at the end of the last episode where I was literally mid-sentence, forgot what I was talking about, and you couldn't tell me what I was just talking about. Like, it's just like, it's how these episodes end. It's like people can hear us just be like, you've gotten us all.
He's frozen again. Let's see if he comes back this time. For those who don't know, which is everyone, Dalton had some technical difficulties early on in the show, and I think they're happening again. So hopefully he comes back and we can wrap this bitch up.
Oh, Jeremy froze. Oh no. Does that mean my internet went down? No, I still have internet.
Oh, I'm going to have to take
Jeremy
a picture
froze.
so Dalton can see what he looks like here. Let's see.
Jeremy froze. Jeremy froze.
Well, apparently it wasn't Dalton. Apparently it was me. My internet is out, so I guess I'm going to leave the housekeeping to Dalton, and I'm going to wrap up the show.
This is going to be so fucking fun to fix and
hopefully Dalton does the housekeeping, and we'll leave it at that. So, have a good one.
Well, since we are having some technical issues here at the end, I'm just going to go ahead and say thank you for the wonderful questions, everybody. They were great. So Jeremy wants to live in Death Note, and I want to live in Food Wars, to wrap that up there at the end. And we appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show and listening to us. If you would like to find our show, you could find us at facebook.com/group/yet-another-BS-podcast, or you could find us on Twitter at YabsPod, or at Just Call Me Jezza for Jeremy, or at Super Nerd Dalton for me. The email is yetanotherbspod@gmail.com. And all of that stuff, if you want to check out our episodes and the show notes we do put in our songs of the week and things like that, is in yabspod.wordpress.com. And now you can check us out over at patreon.yabspod.com. fuck. I fucked that up again. It's late, everybody. Patreon.com/YabsPod if you would like to support the show. And we would appreciate that. Much like our good buddy Jeff. Jeff, shout out my good friend. You the man. And actually, you heard Jeff at the beginning of this episode. He did the intro this week. He sent us an intro. So we appreciate it, man. If you'd like to hear more of me, you can check me out over on the Steam Machine Podcast, a bi-weekly PC gaming show where me, Nate, and Willie talk about whatever game we're playing in my backlog that week. You can also check me out on the JRPG Report, which is a weekly JRPG news podcast. It's been doing quite well lately. I've been very impressed with myself. And I love doing it, man. I love doing these podcasts. I love making everybody smile. It's my thing. And if you'd like to check out some of my music, if you like the intro music to any of the podcasts that I do, other than the JRPG Report, NileTheNightmare.bandcamp.com. And I think that about does it for this episode of Yabs Pod. Hopefully these technical issues don't fuck up too bad at the end. But for Jeremy, I'm Dalton. And as always, guys, take it easy.